Let's do it.
Okay.
55 and overcast. Not the weather we had last weekend. It was up in the 80s, but by no means too cold to play baseball. So we welcome you into Ray Fisher Stadium as Michigan welcomes in Toledo for a one-game series this afternoon. I am joined on my left by Ryan Dolson. This is your last broadcast of the season, Ryan. How are you feeling?
Indeed it is. This is my last broadcast ever. I'm a senior, graduating in a week. Turned in a huge paper 2 hours ago. Not my last assignment, but honestly, like the biggest one I had left. So I feel great. I love baseball. I'm going to miss it, but for right now, I'm focused on this game that's right ahead of us. It should be a really exciting one. Michigan's coming off couple wins, couple losses in their most recent season against Rutgers. They lost in the series against Rutgers. They lost 2 of their last 3. They lost on Sunday with a final score of 3-6. It was a doubleheader, actually. The first game they won 13-8, and then lost the next game 3-6. So a lot on the line here. I think Wolverines looking to bounce back after losing that series against Rutgers. They also lost a game on Friday, 0-13. So not the most pretty games here. But meanwhile, we're looking at Toledo's coming in on a 4-game losing streak here with a loss to Wright State on Wednesday last week and then losing a 3-game series against Samford. So they're really looking to bounce back. I think Wolverines are looking for a solid win before they take on Michigan State over the weekend. This should be a good one.
It should be a good one. Like you said, Ryan, both teams coming off losses looking to get back into that win column.
Oh, yeah.
Michigan on the season, 19-16 record, 7-5 in Big Ten play. Toledo, on the other hand, sits at 15-20. They're 6-9 in the MAC conference. Again, this is a single game series. First pitch scheduled for 4 p.m.
Yeah. Not a terrible day by any means. I mean, it was snowing 2 days ago. That was not fun, but it's definitely not a bad day. It's decent. It's a little overcast, sure, a little chilly, but any day is a good day for baseball. I truly believe. I think it's an excellent, fun sport.
Certainly, anything over 50, you got to imagine.
Yeah.
The Wolverines will be taking the field. Let's go over the starting pitchers. For Michigan, it's Kurt Barr on the bump, number 25. The righty sports a 4.12 ERA on the season. He has a 1-1 record. It's Patrick Dillon for Toledo in the other dugout. This righty throws 5.25 ERA. He is 0-1 on the season. Toledo will bat first, so we will see Kurt Barr take the mound to begin this game. For Toledo, the lineup leading off, shortstop Jaron Williams, followed by the second baseman Brian Fry. Hitting third is the right fielder Mason Sykes, followed by the cleanup designated hitter Owen Jackson. Fifth in the order is the catcher Braden White, followed by the third baseman Troy Sudbrook, then Trey Wright, Wesley Parker, Caden Konzak, and Patrick Dillon. The pitcher will hit last.
He has
not hitting, by the way.
Yes, that is true. I can already tell right ahead. I'm going to trip some of these names up because you can look at the Michigan lineup on the sheet and on the screen in front of us. They do first name, last name. But Toledo, for whatever reason, doing last name, first name. I apologize in advance for anybody whose names I say in the wrong order. I do think it will inevitably happen. But game starts in a minute. I really can't wait. Got, solid enough turnout, I think, for today. I think you do have plenty of students studying for finals, working on some of those final projects, but there is a good turnout. I'm seeing a couple Toledo fans, as it's not really that far of a drive away from Toledo, Ohio, to come here. But you're seeing a bit of mix of both. In fact, I'm seeing one guy in shorts and a light pullover jacket.
Got flip-flops on, too.
Yeah.
That's bold, for sure.
Very bold, I got to say. I think I respect it. I think I have to.
Our umpires for today's game. Behind home plate, Andy Joseph will be calling balls and strikes. Todd Odell at first, Nathan Thompson at second, and Stuart Hall at third. Again, it's 50 with an overcast here in Ann Arbor. As Michigan takes on Toledo for this single-game series. Michigan softball practicing in the background. It's officially spring sports season, Ryan.
Indeed, definitely it is. This is, as you said, a single-game season, but as a lot of the other sports kind of ended their seasons, maybe not exactly as hoped, both men's and women's basketball, the hockey team. So hopefully I think it's time for the spring sports to step up. Michigan has had, I think the baseball teams kind of had their ups and downs so far into the season. I think this is a really crucial game, one that there is a very clear path to victory, I think, so you would hope that they would follow it, I suppose. But we're about to get ready. It is 4 p.m. as we get ready for this first pitch here. As you stated, it is pitcher Kurt Barr on the mound, starting out for the Wolverines today, number 25. He is a freshman right-handed pitcher with a 4.12 ERA. As we get ready, solid lineup for the Wolverines today. Lots to be excited about.
Barr on the mound for the Wolverines. It'll be Gabe Sotres behind the plate.
Excited to see him. As Toledo coming off, as we said, Michigan was coming off a lost series. They lost 2 of 3 games against Rutgers in their previous series. Toledo coming off a 3-game loss, losing 3 games to Samford in their most recent series. And as Michigan prepares for a maze-out on April 21st here at home in Ann Arbor against Michigan State. So if you're not doing anything, you need a break from studying, you need a break from finals, you need a break from all those projects. Why not come out, support this baseball team in a rivalry game against Michigan State? Come and go blue and wear maize. That will be the first of a 3-game series on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The game on Friday will be at 4 p.m. And if you come to the Sunday game starting at 1, there will be a sunglasses giveaway. So I will be sure to come to that one.
As we approach first pitch here at Ray Fisher Stadium, be Jaron Williams for Toledo leading off this game, facing Kurt Barr.
He has a .373 batting average on the year.
First pitch is swung on and grounded to the third base line that gets past the third baseman. That's Mitch Voigt. And going into second base is Williams, who is tagged out. So crazy play on the first pitch there. Yeah. Williams gets past the third baseman, then gunned out at second base. He tried to take 2.
Yeah, very great contact he made on that hit. Third baseman couldn't quite get all of that catch. Had to run for it as the runner, Williams, rounded first, tried to get to second, but they managed to tag him out there. Very eventful play. We've only had 1 pitch. There's 1 out already. Let's see how the second pitch goes.
First pitch to Fry, the second batter, is high for a ball.
Fry is batting a .265 average. He's a left-handed batter.
From the windup, second pitch is swung on and foul down the third base line. That goes into the Michigan bullpen. Fry on the season, .265.
Made solid contact with that one. But he has 27 hits, 102 at-bats. He's playing very solid, very impressive baseball this year for Toledo. Let's see this next pitch.
This pitch is swung on and missed. Barr gets ahead 1-2. Good start for him.
Really wanted that one, as you could tell. There's already 1 out here in that at-bat after that crazy first pitch by Williams. I really thought he was going to be safe at second.
The 1-2 from the windup. Got him swinging. 2 quick outs for Kurt Barr as he retires Fry on strikes. Good start for the freshman. He was helped out by his defense, Ryan, on that first pitch.
Indeed,
credit to the left fielder.
Was. Oh, yeah.
Joe Longo getting over there and making the throw to Ted Burton.
Yeah, that was a long throw. Really did not think that they were going to catch him in time, but shows, that's why you don't give up on a play like that, just because the player's rounding first, just because they make good contact, just because one guy's maybe not going to get his whole glove on the mitt. You keep it going and you make the play.
The first pitch to Mason Sykes is in for a strike.
This guy's batting .269 on the year. He is a senior. He is the right fielder for the Toledo Rockets.
Here comes the 0-1 from the windup. That one is outside. Count evens at 1-1.
Still can be kind of very interesting in the way that, especially for the pitchers, maybe some of their stats aren't fully accurate, as we see.
The 1-1 is low. Count moves to 2-1.
They're starting to get definitely more and more games under their belt, but for Kurt Barr, he's really, he's pitched 20 innings, so actually maybe my point is moot, but I always think it's very interesting as the season goes along, the way the stats become more normalized.
The 2-1 is swung on and missed. Gets away from Sotrace, but that doesn't matter. Count evens at 2-2. Yeah, Barr on the season, 20 innings pitched. He's only a freshman, but a 3.98 ERA is pretty strong, so good start to his collegiate career for Kurt Barr. And
putting up really excellent numbers.
He's facing a solid batting order here against the Rockets. Here comes the 2-2. One is swung on and missed. 2 straight strikeouts for Kurt Barr as Michigan goes 1-2-3 with a little help from their defense on that first batter.
Oh, yeah.
So we move to the bottom of the first. We'll stay with you.
Definitely so. Sotris managed to, didn't get his whole glove on that third strike there, but manages to tag him out. Nobody on the bases with 2 outs already. Doesn't really matter as we head to the bottom of the first inning. Pitcher for the Toledo Rockets will be Patrick Dillon. He's 0-1 on the year. He is a sophomore who's got a 5.25 ERA.
Michigan batting order, it'll be Cody Jeffries leading off, the shortstop senior, followed by Ted Burton and Jonathan Kim. Then it's Joe Longle, Jack Van Remortel, Joey Velasquez, Mitch Voigt, Tito Flores, and Gabe Sotrace batting 9th for the Wolverines.
Very impressive lineup of really great, solid hitters there. Really excited to see how those guys go, especially Jeffries. He's got, as you said, he's batting, he's a lefty, batting .246 on the year. He is the shortstop for the team. Really excited to see how he starts off this game, starts out the lineup for this Wolverine squad. Michigan with a quick 1-2-3 out inning to start the top of the first. Very impressively played. He had some nice fielding by the left fielder for the Wolverines, who made a really great play on the as the batter rounded first, and then 2 really solid strikeouts from Kurt Barr to follow it up.
Again, it'll be Patrick Dillon on the mound for the Rockets.
Pitched 12 innings so far on the year, and as previously mentioned, 5.25 ERA.
So limited experience here for Dillon so far this season.
Yeah.
Sports an 0-1 record. And he, like you said, Ryan, will have his hands full with pretty solid Michigan lineup. And leading that lineup will be Cody Jeffries as he preps to step into the box to resume play here at Ray Fisher Stadium. It's the bottom of the first inning. Score remains 0-0.
Stepping up to the plate with the M&M Classic without me. You do have to wonder where this team would be without a solid hitter such as him.
That's a great point. First pitch. One is in for a strike. Good start for Dillon. Cody Jeffries was recently named to the Brooks Wallace Award watch list, which honors the nation's best shortstop. Jeffries has been vital, both offensively and defensively for the Wolverines this season. Second pitch.
That one's just going to be a little too low.
Yep, low and in for a ball. Count evens at 1-1.
Indeed so. Yeah, as you said, he is absolutely deserving of that award. He has been an absolute force in that shortstop position.
1-1 is high and away. Count moves to 2-1. Jeffries, the staggering .398 on base percentage this season. Shows the discipline at the plate.
2-1 count.
The 2-1 is in for a strike. Evens at 2-2.
Hasn't swung at anything yet. Both strikes catching him looking, really waiting for that right pitch.
The 2-2 is swung on and fouled back, so Jeffrey stays alive.
That one goes into the left side parking lot. Always sweat a little bit as the balls go into those parking lots.
The 2-2 is swung on and fouled back as well, so Jeffries putting up a quality at-bat here to lead off for the Wolverines.
He's liking those pitches. He's making solid contact, just going behind him a little too much. Balls are,
The 2-2 again. That one is swung on and grounded to the shortstop. That is Williams. He flips it over to Parker for the first out of the inning. So after a lengthy battle, Jeffries is retired. 1 away.
He very easily fielded that one, was right on top of it, made the throw. Solid contact, good hit by Jeffries, but sometimes, that happens. Ted Burton steps up to the plate. He's batting .283 on the year. 1 out here at the bottom of the first.
First pitch to Burton is just high. Ted Burton, a senior for this program, leads the team in hits this season at 36.
That one just barely in the strike zone.
He's been a consistent presence as a program leader for this team. He's putting up the numbers to show. Here comes the 1-1. That one is swung on and also grounded to short. That is Williams again, flipping it over and making the play. So 2 ground balls to Williams to start this inning for Michigan. It will be Jonathan Kim up next.
As you said, yeah, just very easily handled by the second baseman in both both hits. Went straight to him, no real doubt about it, fielded him, and perfectly made the throw to first. Jonathan Kim hopefully looking to send it somewhere that isn't to Williams.
First pitch is in for a strike. Kim has had an outstanding freshman season, .388 on the year to go with 3 home runs and 22 RBIs.
He is a lefty batter.
The 0-1 is low. Count evens at 1-1.
Definitely have to see what we can do here. 2 outs here already, and what has been a quick first inning for both teams so far.
The 1-1 is well outside. Count moves to 2-1. I mean, we talked about Kurt Barr as a freshman, the starting pitcher for Michigan here today.
Absolutely.
And what he's brought to this program in his early years. Jonathan Kim's done the same thing, instead as a hitter.
Yeah, he definitely looks like the future of this program.
The 2-1 is high. Count moves to 3-1 rather. So Michigan showing solid plate discipline here in the first inning, albeit with a couple of ground outs. No strikes swinging yet. The 3-1. One is just outside. Jonathan Kim draws a walk for the first base runner.
For either team.
Yep.
As Joe Longo steps up to the plate, batting fourth for this Wolverine squad. Left fielder is batting .298 on the year with a runner on first. Let's see how he responds.
So Longo, the left fielder, will step in after the Kim 2-out walk.
Kim.
First pitch bounces in 1-0.
Kim leaning very heavily, looking to steal that second base. Catcher has to jump out just for a second to scare him back over to first.
Dillon now working from the stretch. Second pitch is popped up right field. That is Sykes drifting. Will he get there? Yes, he will. Picked it nicely out of the air. Looked like it might have gone over that fence foul, yeah. But Sykes reaching out and snatching the ball out of the air, and that ends Michigan's rather quick inning. It was a quick first inning for both teams, Ryan, as we move to the top of the second in Ray Fisher Stadium.
Yeah, absolutely. I was saying neither team managed to get a hit and a runner still on base. I'm looking at the scoreboard. I guess that the hitter who got tagged out at second base, that does technically count as a hit, but he was immediately thrown out in the same at-bat run. So neither team really making anything going. You had a Toledo runner who got picked off on second base after rounding first, and you had Jonathan Kim, who was stranded on first. Not the most eventful inning, but that's why there's 9 of them. As we get ready, heading into the top of the second. Naturally, Kurt Barr staying on the mound for the Wolverines as Owen Jackson, the designated hitter, prepares to step up to the plate for Toledo. He's batting .246 on the year in 134 at-bats.
It'll be Owen Jackson followed by Braden White and then Troy Sudbrook, all with solid averages. Toledo went 1-2-3 in the first inning. Kurt Barr, like you said, Ryan, will remain on the mound and look to continue his efficient work. It's a big middle-of-the-season game for both teams. Again, it's only a 1-game series, but at this point in the year, both teams will take a win where they can get it. Michigan,
absolutely,
a bit above 500, and Toledo a bit below.
This game could definitely be a huge momentum swing for either squad, really, especially as you head into the series that both teams have facing them in this weekend. You want to go in there with high hopes with a big win like this.
It'll be Owen Jackson, the designated hitter, leading off the second inning for Toledo. First pitch catches the outside corner for strike 1.
As Kurt Barr already with 2 strikeouts on the day.
The 0-1 is low. Count evens at 1-1.
Catcher Sotris can't quite get his mitt on it, but nobody on base, so it doesn't really matter.
Jackson is one of the 5 Toledo sophomores in today's batting order. Definitely a bright future ahead for the Rockets. Here comes the 1-1. That one looked like it might have hit Jackson. I think the dugout.
Yeah, the Toledo side.
The dugout was arguing that it hit him.
Yeah, but
Jackson didn't seem to have much of a reaction. Regardless, count moves to 2-1. One is swung on and belted to right field. It goes foul, though. Good piece of hitting by Owen Jackson. Just couldn't find the middle of the field.
That one definitely had the distance to be really scary there for the Wolverines, so should be very thankful that nothing came out of it.
Count evens at 2-2. Barr has given up a hit with the leadoff hitter, but has yet to give up a base runner.
That is true. As
Jaron Williams was thrown out at second base. Here comes the 2-2. One looked like a bit low. Sotres had to adjust the glove. So count moves full.
Indeed. Huge pitch here. Huge at bat. As we hear here at the top of the second inning, still no outs. Still scoreless.
The 3-2. One is low as Owen Jackson has the best Toledo at bat of the game so far. He takes first base.
He knew it immediately, right? Even before the pitch hit the glove, I think. He would look like he was getting ready to toss his bat to the side and take that stroll to first base.
It'll be Braden White, the 5-hitter, and the catcher stepping in for the Rockets.
Batting .317 on the year. Runner on first. Let's see what Toledo does.
First pitch is high, and it's still early, and there's only one base runner on, but with the average that White has,
a little scary, I think.
Definitely got to be on your toes defensively if you're Michigan. The 1-0 is swung on and chopped to short. Diving is Jeffries, but it rolls into center field. That is a base hit for White. Now runners on first and second.
Still no outs here at the top of the second. Barr, maybe not some of the best at-bats he's had. Thrown a couple balls recently, maybe, especially with runners like this and still no outs here so early in the game can definitely be a little nerve-wracking, starts to make a bit of a mind game. This is where some of the best players truly come into clutch.
It'll be Sudbrook stepping in for the Rockets. First pitch is in for a strike.
Sudbrook batting .273 on the year. He is the third baseman freshman for the Toledo Rockets.
The 0-1 is swung on and fouled back. Good start to this at-bat for Kurt Barr. He's up 0-2 on Sudbrook.
0-2 count here. Very huge opportunity for Barr to take control of the inning. Difference between no outs and 1 out, especially with runners on first and second like this, is monumental.
The 0-2 just outside. That one looked awfully close from up here.
Definitely did to me as well.
Count moves to 1-2.
Suppose we will have to see.
The 1-2 bounces in. That thing bounced a couple of feet away from home plate. Might have slipped out of Barr's hand.
Yeah.
Jackson takes third on what should be counted as a wild pitch.
I would think so, yeah. That was definitely a bit of a wild pitch. Looked like it was maybe going to hit Sudbrook for a second, but it took a couple bounces beforehand. So Sotris having a quick word, yelling it across to the pitcher, likely letting him know that it's perfectly okay. We have runners on the corners now, but you got a 2-2 count. Take care of this guy, and then you take care of the next.
The 2-2 also bounces in. Count moves full. Full count now to the third baseman, Troy Sudbrook.
After starting out 0-2, you got to hope Barr's not getting into his own head right now.
No runs in yet. Runners on the corners, no outs. Here comes the 3-2 on his high. Sudbrook draws a walk. Bases are now loaded. And Trey Wright will step in for the Rockets now. Perhaps a mound meeting beforehand, though, as Sotre's slowly pacing out. Now he'll go back.
Had a very strong start in that first inning. Had a really great opportunity to strike that batter out, but this is not the kind of situations you live for as a starting pitcher, I have to admit.
Trey Wright, the starting left fielder, with a big opportunity to strike early.
209 batting
First
average.
pitch is swung on and goes right to the right fielder. That's Joey Velasquez. Tagging from third is Jackson. Velasquez firing in and cut off by the first baseman, Van Remortel, as Toledo strikes first. Here in the top of the second. It is a sacrifice fly for Trey Wright that scored Owen Jackson from third.
That Toledo dugout, very loud and excited for him.
White took third base. Sudbrook stayed at first. So runners on the corners. 1 out, 1 run in. First pitch is high and into the first baseman, Wesley Parker. He is also a freshman. 35 at-bats on the season, 200 average. Big opportunity for Parker. With runners on the corners, here comes the 1-0. That one is well low and outside. Count moves to 2-0. Kurt Barr looked unhittable in the first inning, but perhaps losing a bit of that command here in the second. By no means have things gotten out of control.
But with runners on the corners here, you really want a solid at-bat.
Right on cue, the third pitch of the at-bat is low and inside. Count moves to 3-0 for Wesley Parker.
Still only 1 out here, and when you're going up against a guy like Parker, only batting 200 on 35 at-bats on the year.
Barr comes right back with the first strike of the at-bat. Count is now 3-1. Again, Sudbrook on first, White on third for Toledo. Here comes the 3-1. That one is swung on and grounded to the shortstop. That's Jeffries. Can they turn 2? Burton to Van Remortel for 2. Michigan gives up a run, but able to quell the damage with a Jeffries, Burton, Van Remortel double play.
Very excellently done there. Saw Barr not losing his cool, not as in a 3-0 count with runners on the corners and only 1 out. Definitely many pitchers there would have probably potentially could have cracked under the pressure, but he stayed calm, delivered some solid pitches, led up to the double play that really limited the damage that Toledo was able to commit there. It was really getting nervous with no outs and bases loaded there for just a moment.
Boy, did Kurt Barr need that.
Absolutely.
It'll be Van Remortel, Velasquez, and Voits due up for Michigan as we head for the bottom of the second here at Ray Fisher Stadium. Weather has remained rather consistent. We're sitting at around 55 with an overcast.
Very
a little bit of sun peeking out from the clouds. So
occasionally you get a slight breeze every now and then.
Perfect weather, perfect baseball weather rather for Michiganders.
Yeah,
I'm sure
this is the weather you're getting used to, especially so early on in the season.
Dylan will go back to work on the mound.
As Jack Van Remortel be the first batter stepping up to the plate for the Wolverines. The first baseman batting .315 on the year. As we get ready for the beginning of the bottom of the second here. Toledo managing to strike first in the top of the first inning there. Managing to score in 1 run off of a right sacrifice fly that allowed Jackson to score for Toledo. Jack Van Mortal, really huge opportunity to get things going for the Wolverines. Very uneventful first inning for the first 3-4 batters of the Wolverines, so let's see what he can do.
First pitch is a bit outside. Van Remortel has been one One of the most reliable Michigan bats in the order this season, boasting that .315 average. Here comes the 1-0. One is high. Count moves to 2-0.
It's been a very consistent, solid weapon for the Wolverines his entire time here as he enters. This is his senior year.
The 2-0 from Dylan is swung on and fouled back. That's our first car ball of the night for those who parked adjacent to the stadium.
Always got to be careful there. Called it many things in my time. I believe the last game I was here, I was calling it the Geico lot.
There you go.
With somebody, so I'm sure they get plenty of claims due to this field.
The 2-1 is outside. Count moves to 3-1. Catcher White tried to frame it. The home plate umpire wasn't having any of it.
Not quite. Van Mortal, very smart. I think about the pitches he's getting. Let's see what he does.
The 3-1 is swung on and missed. Count moves full.
And Dylan playing some very impressive baseball for Toledo so far. Pitching well.
The 3-2 is swung on and grounded to the second baseman. That is Fry, flipping it over to Parker to record the first out of the inning. Van Remortel is retired on a ground ball after a solid at-bat.
Yeah, definitely so. But Joey Velasquez will now step up to the plate for the Wolverines. He's batting .234 on the season. Let's see if he can't start racking in some hits for this Wolverine squad. Still no hits here on the day.
First pitch to Velasquez is high for ball 1. It wouldn't be a Michigan baseball broadcast if we didn't mention that Joey Velasquez is a two-sport athlete. Indeed. Also a football player for the Wolverines. As the 1-0 bounces in. Looks like it hit Velasquez, so he will take his base.
They are going to say that one hit him. Velasquez, as you said, also being on the football squad. Really don't see too much of that these days. Players able to do both.
And bring up Mitch Voigt with Velasquez on first and 1 out.
Batting 7th, the third baseman for the Wolverines. Got a .259 average with a solid runner. Velasquez, a very solid base runner on first. Let's see what Mitch Voigt can do here with only 1 out.
First pitch to Voigt is inside for ball 1.
He's got a duck to avoid that one just a little bit.
Voigt, another one of these Wolverine youngsters that has been making an immediate impact. .260 average on the season.
Yeah, as you said, despite being a freshman.
The 1-0 is swung on and missed. Count evens at 1-1.
Could tell he really wanted that one just from the swing. Saw that that was the pitch he wanted. Tragically unable to make contact with it. 1-1 count.
One is swung on and skied to right field.
That's going to be a home run.
Going to be a home run as Mitch Voigt goes yard for a 2-run shot, a needed 2-run shot as Michigan gains the lead 2-1 on Mitch Voigt's 5th home run of the season. And was tailing out towards right and just got over.
That's also going to be his 24th RBI on the year so far. Very impressive numbers coming from this freshman. As the Wolverines, with that 2-run shot, that happens all the time here. You see that ball, you're not necessarily sure it has the distance, and then suddenly it's just way over that fence. Almost like a Yankees game at times.
It'll be Tito Flores as he swings at the first pitch, just fouled on the third base line.
That one almost hit the third base umpire. He had to do a little fancy dodge to get out of the way of that one.
And that Voigt home run, like you said, Ryan, you don't think it's going to go over, but it kind of sneaks up on you.
Yeah, that was a very impressive 2-run shot. You could even see a couple people in the stands. You hear a couple oohs. Not sure if it's going to have the distance. A couple people start standing up, and then suddenly, as you said, over the fence, running the bases, giving the Wolverines a much-needed 2-1 lead here in the bottom of the second. Still only 1 out.
Flores back to the box. Dylan quickly to work. That one bounced in, so count evens at 1-1. Flores took his time, to put it lightly, getting back inside that batter's box after the foul ball. He might have thought it was fair, just trying to catch his breath, but Dylan couldn't wait any longer.
That's true.
The 1-1 is high. Count moves to 2-1.
Tito Flores, the designated hitter, has been a consistent player on this Michigan squad. He's a senior coming in with a 204 average.
The 2-1 is swung on and grounded to second. That is Sykes collecting the ground ball and firing it over to Parker to record the second out of the Wolverines' half of the second inning.
As we head to the bottom of the lineup here, Gabe Sotris, the catcher for the Wolverines, steps up to the plate here with 2 outs here, bottom of the second, thanks to a 2-run shot for Mitch Voigt. Wolverines were able to take the lead earlier. That's been the only hit they've actually had today so far.
First pitch to Sotres is a ball. 216 on the season for the catcher, 356 on base percentage. So Sotres can get on base. The bottom of the order. Second pitch is low and away. Count moves to 2-0.
You definitely want that guy who can get on base at the bottom of the order, because then when you get to the top, you got those hard hitters. You want somebody who's going to be on base.
The 2-0 is swung on and fouled back. Count moves to 2-1.
2-1 count, as you said. Very interestingly, Dillon still with no strikeouts on the day. Every single out, it feels like it's either gone to the shortstop or the second baseman.
2-1 nearly hit Sotres, but
Yeah.
instead it's in for a ball. Count moves to 3-1. Sotres, native of Allen Park, Michigan, attended nearby Brother Rice.
Oh yeah, I did know that, actually.
The 3-1. 50-50 call there, but Andy Joseph decides it's a strike, so count moves full for Gabe Sotres with 2 outs.
Very important pitch coming in right here.
Here it comes. That one is fouled back as Sotres continues fighting. A couple of good Michigan at-bats here early that maybe haven't resulted in a base runner, but have really increased that pitch count.
He's already
Patrick Dillon.
Yeah, he's already at 31, only 2 innings in. See what happens.
The 3-2 is high. Sotres was great plate discipline there,
Could see he
taking the
thought
base
about
2 outs.
thought about swinging at it, but wisely decided not to, as he gets to walk to first. Cody Jeffress, now top of the lineup, the shortstop for the Wolverines, stepping up to the plate. And as previously he had his first at bat naturally in the first inning, being at the top of the lineup. It was a ground out to the shortstop.
Sotres takes off to second on the first pitch, and he is called out at second. Maybe a surprising call there. It looked like a pretty close play, but
he's looking like he's disagreeing with it, staying on base just for another quick second. Wolverines especially very much so disagreeing with it. They decide not to take the field just yet. Michigan manager are going to decide to have a word with the umpire right there on that steal. I do have to admit, as he was stealing second, seeing the throw, I didn't think he was going to make it in time, but he really did turn on the jets. I thought he was going to be safe at second. I really thought when he made that tag, I didn't think he got it in time.
It's Nathan Thompson at second base. Tracy Smith, Michigan's head coach, came out there to have a word with Thompson.
Michigan really taking their time, sending their players out into the field for the top of this third inning.
Definitely a bang-bang play. You think if maybe it was a called hit and run, and Jeffries just didn't swing, or Sotres, it was just called a steal, but regardless, he's gunned out at second, but not before Mitch Voigt comes through with a 2-run shot for Michigan as they gain the lead 2-1 here in Ray Fisher Stadium as we enter the top of the third inning. Thank you for being with us on, it's a pretty good afternoon, all things considered, about Michigan weather in the spring.
Yeah, with how the weather has been all week, I had to, I was walking into campus just a few hours ago. I had to deliver a paper in person, and I really got to take in, you know, the rays of sunshine. It was quite a bit of a beautiful day. It has become something of overcast. It was really overcast when the game started, but it really seeing a bit more blue skies as the game continues. Really hope that it clears up even more. As my laptop, as stats is telling me, it's about 56 degrees outside right now. That feels about right, I'd have to say.
Mid-50s, nothing these players can't handle, especially with the sun peeking out of the clouds.
I've definitely dealt with colder. I've definitely called colder baseball games. So
Michigan will employ an early pitching change here. It'll be Ryan Zimmer coming in for Kurt Barr. An interesting change here. Barr did have some trouble in the second inning. Ended up giving up a run. Maybe had a bit of trouble with that command as Zimmer threw a warm-up pitch way behind Sotres. So
that was going to be the last pitch right there.
We'll see if that trend continues for Zimmer. But regardless, new pitcher on the mound for Michigan. They have the lead. It's 2-1. 2-1 rather.
Kurt Barr, he had 2 strikeouts. Solidly impressive first inning. Struggled a little bit in the second. Really couldn't get those batters out in the way that he wanted. Let up a run, but very interesting to see him pulled so early. As we have number 7 for the Toledo Rockets.
The Caden Konzak stepping in.
Center fielder, the bottom of the lineup here, batting 9th for Toledo. He's got a .228 average on the year. First pitch just a little to the outside, called a ball.
Here comes the 1-0. That one is in for a strike. Count evens at 1-1. Konzak, .228 average on the year to go along with 6 home runs and 17 RBIs.
Every hit matters, especially so early on here in the 3rd inning. Wolverines holding on to a 1-run lead. That can all change with just a single pitch and a single hit.
The 1-1 is popped up. Kim under it out in center, and he makes the play, 1 away.
Very easily fielded by him. As that is already, as you said, going to put 1 away here at the top of the 3rd. Top of the lineup now, Jerome Williams steps up to the plate, technically 1 for 1, although did not actually get to remain on base as he rounded first after the 3rd baseman was unable to handle the ground ball coming towards the side, but was eventually thrown out as he rounded to 2nd base. Let's see what he does here.
First pitch to Williams is high, gets away from Sotres. Williams has been, simply put, a stud for the Rockets this season. He was recently named the MAC Player of the Week.
Wow.
And he hit .619. That's 13 for 21 across 4 games and stole 4 bases. This extremely dangerous leadoff hitter is Jaron Williams.
He made great, literally first pitch of the game he saw he liked, and he made great contact with it. Just didn't have it all to round 2nd base. I'm sure he's going to be much more careful in working the bases this time around.
The 1-1 is swung on and missed. Count moves to 1-2.
One out here, top of the 3rd. As we said, new pitcher for the Wolverines, Ryan Zimmer, came in here at the start of the inning. He's got a 5.40 ERA.
The 1-2 is swung on and fouled. Those are 2 pitches that probably would have resulted in balls.
Yeah.
That Williams swung at.
Very interesting to see him swing at it. He made really great contact with it for sure, but not really the kind of pitches you see, especially the leadoff guy doing so well. Not the kind of guy you see him swinging at usually.
Williams also closing in on the single-season stolen base record for Toledo. He's at 33. Wow. Tyler Grogg holds the record at 36 back in 2013. The 1-2 is outside. Count evens at 2-2. But Williams, we've talked about the average, 377. The fact that he could break his school's single-season stolen base record is a testament to how versatile a player he is.
Especially with so many games left. It's crazy. He really should have no trouble breaking that record at all.
The 2-2. One is swung on and fouled back. Good battle here between Zimmer and Williams.
Definitely. He's adding some pitches to that pitch count. Anytime you can get that opposing pitcher throwing more pitches than he really needs to is usually good for the batting team.
The 2-2 is swung on and belted to shortstop. That's Jeffries who makes the backhand play at first. Is out as Van Remortel caught it just before Williams hit the bag. Bang, bang play there.
He's got a powerful swing. I only just noticed on that hit, but man, he is really putting about every inch of muscle he's got into all those hits. That one nearly really had the distance to go far into that outfield, but thankfully shortstop right on top of it.
It'll be Brian Fry now, the two-hitter. He struck out back in the first. First pitch is high and in for a ball.
2 outs here at the top of the third.
Zimmer working steadily against a pretty good top half Toledo order. Here comes the 1-0. That's in for a strike. Count evens at 1-1. Again, an interesting pitching change early as Kurt Barr was pulled for Ryan Zimmer. Now Zimmer coming in to this appearance, only 7 innings pitched.
Yeah, very interesting decision, especially when you're holding on to such a tight 2-1 lead.
The 1-1 will be fouled.
Clobbered that one. Way out of play, however.
So count moves to 1-2 for Brian Fry.
As stated, he is 0 for 1 on the day. Struck out in the first inning. 1-2 count.
Here it comes, and it's swung on and missed. Fry goes down on strikes for the second time today, and Michigan behind Ryan Zimmer gets out of the top of the third as we move to the bottom of the third here in Ray Fisher Stadium. It'll be Jeffries, Burton, Kim, top of the order, due up for Michigan.
Very impressive inning right there. You're holding on to such a slight, small lead. Really no room for error, and you come out there and you take care of those batters just like that. 1, 2, 3. Take care of the bottom of the lineup, and then take care of the top 2 right next. Really scary situation. Really a whole lot of chances for it to go wrong, especially with such a quality hitter. Some quality hitters on Toledo, but really felt like they got out of that one without breaking too much of a sweat.
And you have to think, I mean, talking about the pitching change, going back to it, this is a non-conference game for Michigan. Do they want to save their arms for the conference games later down the road that do matter more in terms of the Big Ten tournament, possibly the NCAA tournament? That could be the motive behind this early pitching change. Again, Barr had an outstanding first inning. Kind of struggled with that command a bit in the second inning, gave up a run, but by no means in a normal game would he have probably been pulled out.
Yeah.
So you got to think, is it because this is a non-conference single game series late in the season? Is that why they're rotating these pitchers? And maybe we'll see Toledo employ that same strategy.
Definitely don't let him stay out there. If you're worried maybe he's getting a little rattled against a Toledo squad, you definitely don't want him pitching out there in a less important non-conference game, wearing out his arm and maybe getting in his own head just a tiny bit.
For now, Patrick Dillon, the Rockets starter, will remain on the bump. It's Cody Jeffries to lead off the Michigan half of the third. First pitch is outside. Breaking ball that never broke.
Making it a 1-0 count for Cody. He is 0 for 1 on the day.
The 1-0. One is low and outside. Count moves to 2-0 for Cody Jeffries. Grounded out back in the first.
Had a couple pitches, had an at-bat in the previous inning, only for Gabe Sotris to get tagged out at second, ending the inning.
The 2-0. Jeffries squares up to bunt but pulls back. Pitch is a called ball. Count moves to 3-0.
Wisely pulled back, as one would say. 3-0 count.
One is high as Jeffries takes his bake. Leadoff walk for Michigan as Ted Burton will step to the plate.
Very solid. 4 pitches. Didn't see any of them that he liked, and wisely didn't swing at any of them. 4 pitches, 4 balls right there for Dillon. As stated, Ted Burton stepping up to the plate. He is 0 for 1 on the day, but he's batting .281 on the season with a runner on first. Definitely think that he's aiming for a big for a big hit or just to get on base at this at bat.
First pitch to Burton is in for a strike. Count the outside edge.
Definitely.
Count is 0-1. Burton, a 4-year starter for the Wolverines in his senior season. Initially started his Michigan career at third, but now plays second. Pitch is swung on and fouled back. Count moves to 0-2. Opportunity here for Michigan to cushion their lead. They lead 2-1.
1.1 run, 1 anything lead in sports. Definitely not the most comfortable. As they're only up 2-1 here. Still plenty of baseball left to be played.
As Burton is retired on 3 pitches, went down swinging there. Patrick Dillon coming back nicely after the leadoff walk. It'll be Jonathan Kim stepping to the plate, who walked himself back in the first.
As Dillon, actually, that was his first strikeout of the day on that last at-bat.
Dillon checking Jeffries over at first. The grad senior slides back safely.
First baseman Wesley Parker has to hop a little bit just to catch that one. Nearly went over his head, which would have been an absolute disaster for Toledo.
Kim squares up to bunt, pulls back on the ball, though. Jonathan Kim this season hitting .420 with runners on. So big opportunity for him to create some offense for Michigan.
1-0 count here. Only 1 out at the bottom of the third.
This pitch is swung on in. It's a chopper foul down the first base line.
Definitely took an interesting bounce.
Kim, again, is a freshman for this Wolverine squad. Really broke out back on March 31st. Went 5 for 5, including a home run to left field and 4 RBIs and a 12-9 written over Illinois. The fact that you can have underclassmen producing at these kind of levels, yeah, such a benefit for a baseball program.
And he's playing very good. He's got great stats on the year.
The 1-1 one is swung on and missed.
Didn't quite get all of that one.
Dillon working back nicely after the leadoff walk to Jeffries. Retired Burton on 3 pitches, and now is Jonathan Kim at 1-2. See if he can finish the job here. Comes the 1-2. That one is outside. Evens at 2-2.
Dillon has got about a 50 pitch count, I believe. Adding the pitches on from this at bat.
Next pitch looks like it hit Kim.
They are indeed going to say it hit him. He is going to take his base. That'll put Jeffress on second. And Kim on first. Joe Longo now stepping up to the plate for the Wolverines. Toledo going to have a bit of a meeting with the pitcher right now. Not clear if they'll be taking him out or just having a quick word from him. Inning hasn't gotten quite away from him just yet. Joe Longo is 0 for 1 on the day. 1 out here at the bottom of the third. Toledo still only down by 1. Definitely got to be careful about, taking your pitchers out a little bit too early, stretching some of your pitchers maybe a bit too thin, but also want to make sure Dillon is had 12 innings pitched on the season. I guess now it's going to be 14 with the 2 innings added prior. They are going to indeed keep him out there.
So Dillon will remain on the bump for the Rockets. He faces Joe Longo.
Manager just wanted to have a quick word with him. Likely let him know that everything's all right. Just take care of the batter right in front of you, and it'll work itself out.
First pitch to Longo is low for a ball. Kim on first, Jeffress on second. Both walked with Kim being hit by a pitch. 1 out, bottom of the third for Michigan. The 1-0. One bounces in, count moves to 2-0.
Joey Longo had a ground out in the first inning, his first at-bat to the shortstop, I believe. No, I believe it was to the second baseman, actually. Apologies.
The 2-0.
Thought about biting
just
that
outside for 3-0. One looks like he might have caught the zone. A couple Rockets fans voicing their displeasure with that call.
3-0 count, unless that bad for Joe Longo.
The 3-0 is in for strike 1.
Joe trying to dodge that one, maybe trick the umpire into seeing it outside the strike zone. Was not going to work. That was a perfect pitch right down the middle.
The 3-1 to Longo is swung on and belted to left field, but that is right at right. who will make the catch and throw it in. Runners stay where they are. Well hit ball by Longo, but hit to the wrong spot. 2 outs, bottom of the third.
Made great contact, but the left fielder was just right there. Really didn't need to break much of a hustle to get to where he needed to be for it. 2 outs here, bottom of the third. Runners on first and second as Jack Van Remortel steps up to the plate.
Van Remortel had a quality at-bat back in the second. He ended up grounding out, but really made Dillon throw him all his stuff. Speaking of which, that pitch count is up at 56. Definitely something to keep an eye on for Patrick Dillon.
Hasn't really had too many innings pitched so far on the year, so maybe trying to look to rest some of their more veteran pitchers.
The 1-0 is high. Count moves to 2-0.
For the next series they have.
The 2-0 is swung on and fouled back.
Next series that Toledo has, they will remain in Michigan. They will actually be playing Eastern Michigan in their next conference series for a 3-game series over the weekend.
It's pretty convenient, huh? Ann Arbor and then 10 minutes away to Ypsilanti.
Yeah. Sure, they'll be staying in the same place.
The 2-1 is inside, so count moves to 3-1. Jefferson Kim at second and first, respectively. Van Remortel with an opportunity to
really
increase his RBI numbers.
Yeah, really cause some damage for this Wolverine squad.
The 3-1 is low and inside, so that's the third walk of the inning for Patrick Dillon as Jack Van Remortel takes first base. Bases are loaded for Joey Velasquez.
61 pitches for Dillon. Feel like a broken record, perhaps maybe saying how many pitches he's got, but the Toledo manager coming out here to have another word with him. Very likely that he is going to get pulled.
Infield coming in.
Indeed, I do see the pitcher who had been warming up for the Toledo squad making his way towards the mound. That is likely going to be it for Dillon today. Finishing with two earned runs today. 2.2 innings pitched, 1 hit, 2 runs, and 2 ER. And only one strikeout and 4 walks. Not quite sure who is going to be taking his place. Can't make out the number, but he is going to make the walk back to the dugout. Pitched for nearly about 3 innings. Getting some claps from his teammates as he heads back to the dugout. As I said, trying to make out the number on this new Toledo pitcher, but can't quite. I suppose I will know. We will know in just a minute, but there's 2 outs here. Takes over an unenviable position as a relief pitcher. 2 outs, but bases are loaded in a moment where the Wolverines could really use this opportunity to blow the game wide open. Take complete control here. Very interestingly, Michigan still only having 1 hit on the day, despite having 2 runs in a bases loaded scenario right here. But sometimes that's just how the game of baseball is played. As we have Nathan Leininger taking in for Toledo. Number 31, the right-handed pitcher for Toledo, is a freshman. Only 12.1 innings pitched on the year with a win-loss record of 1-0. He's got a 2.19 ERA, 12 strikeouts on the year. A young guy they're slotting in here. Definitely shows how much emphasis I think both teams are really placing on these upcoming seasons. You don't want to throw your veteran pitchers out there, get them all tired right before you have a huge conference series against Eastern over this weekend. Wolverines will be staying at home for their next series. It will be a 3-game series against Michigan State, with the Friday game being a maze-out. First pitch being thrown at 4 p.m. As I said previously, if you need a break from studying, come out here and support your team. As Joey Velasquez steps up to the plate. He was hit by pitch in the 2nd inning and was sent home with the 2-run homer.
First pitch is swung on and missed. Count moves to 0-1.
Leninger, the freshman, starts out his at-bat as mound. Just pitching series with a strike. Excuse me. Fumbling my words there.
The 0-1 is in for a strike, strike two. Velasquez.
Trying to dodge out of that one. Thought it was not going to be in the strike zone, but the umpire clearly disagreeing.
Velasquez hits 167 with the bases loaded, so the odds not in his favor here.
0-2.
The 0-2 is swung on and fouled.
He makes great contact with it. Pitch seemed just a little bit outside, or, well, inside coming to him, but clearly he liked it, making great contact with it, but that one's just way out of play. Count remains 0-2 with 2 outs and bases loaded.
The 0-2 from Leninger. One is swung on and skied to right field. Is that one going to get out? Yes, it does. Joey Velasquez goes yard for a grand slam, and Michigan's lead explodes to 6-1.
Wow.
Joey Velasquez
That
looks
one.
like he was defeated on that at-bat, but comes right back on the 4th pitch and bombs one to right field.
Very interesting. As we saw that very first home run by Mitch Voigt occurring in the 2nd inning, you weren't sure it was a home run until it barely went over the fence, but everyone immediately knew the second he made contact with it. Did a bit of a sword swing, like a chop at it, but man, that one had the distance and then some for a grand slam. Leninger really seemed like he was coming in here. He was going to take care of business. He had some really solid pitches. Seemed to have Velasquez on the ropes, but Velasquez kicked out at 2, as it were.
Now Mitch Voigt, who got all this started with a home run, will swing at the first pitch and ground it back to Leninger, who retires him to end the inning. But that doesn't matter. Joey Velasquez with the grand slam to push Michigan's lead to 5. They lead 6-1 heading into the top of the 4th. It's got to be a huge jolt of energy for a Michigan offense that put up 0 runs back on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Against Rutgers to start that series, a series that they only won 1 game out of 3. Michigan all of a sudden looking very comfortable here against Toledo.
Oh, yeah. 5-run lead like this, especially with Toledo not really consistently hitting in any of those first 3 innings. Definitely makes you feel a bit more confident, gives you some breathing room in a game like this.
Zimmer will go back to work on the mound for Michigan. It'll be Sykes, Jackson, and White, the 3, 4, and 5 hitters due up for the Rockets.
Sorry. Apologies. I was saying he took up, Ryan Zimmer took up 3 batters in the previous inning. Took care of all 3 with ease, striking out 1 of them. 1 strikeout on the day and 7 strikeouts on the season. He's got 7.1 innings pitched on the year. As the Wolverines take the field after that impressive, just insane grand slam. Again, I really can't get over it, but he absolutely crushed that one at, I think, a time that the Wolverines really needed. I think that's as big, as monumental as a momentum shift early on as you can get. Toledo very likely going to be definitely set them back just a little bit, as they're going to try to find some kind of response as Sykes steps up to the plate here.
Mason Sykes, the senior right fielder.
Batting 3rd for the Rockets. He was struck out in the 1st inning.
First pitch catches the outside corner for a strike. Sykes didn't like the call. Is Andy Joseph behind home plate calling balls and strikes this afternoon.
I believe that was called a strike. As here's the 0-1.
One is swung on and fouled back. Sykes just got a piece of it.
Noticing very interestingly, I can't quite describe it, but right after the windup, as he gets ready to throw, you see almost like a head nod, like his head bobbing back and forth right before he makes that pitch.
The 0-2, checking the first base. Umpire, he says that Sykes did not go around, so count moves to 1-2. Another interesting thing about Zimmer is he will not go from the windup when pitching.
No,
he will
he
always
will
work
not.
from the stretch, which is common among relievers in Major League Baseball. Yeah. Zimmer employing that strategy in his pitching game. Here comes the 1-2. One is swung on and missed for a strikeout. Sykes goes down on strikes as Zimmer has his first strikeout of the inning.
Second strikeout of the day.
Will come Owen Jackson, who walked back in the second, also scored back in the second for Toledo for their only run of the game. Jackson hits .246 on the season with a .354 on base percentage. First pitch is just inside. Zimmer continues working from the stretch. The 1-0. One is high and away, moves it to 2-0. Despite the fact that Zimmer is a junior, he's seen limited action in his collegiate career. Did not appear in a game his freshman season in 2021.
Very interesting.
And in 2022, he only threw 4 innings of pitching as the 2-0 is inside to make it 3-0.
He's got to dodge out of that one just a little bit, wisely so, as it very likely would have hit him if he didn't. 3-0 count here, as you stated.
The 3-0 is high as Jackson collects his second walk of the game. He will take first base with 1 out.
As number 18, Braden White, the sophomore catcher, steps up to the plate for the Rockets with a man on first. He hit a single in the second inning that sent him all the way to third. And I believe sent the run in. Sent the 1 run in, excuse me.
First pitch is tipped and fouled back. Count is 0-1.
No, excuse me, he did not. Was not the one who batted the run in. But he does have 1 hit on the day. 1 of 2 hits from Toledo so far. 0-1 count.
The 0-1 is just outside. Sotres did a good job of framing that ball, but Andy Joseph wasn't fooled. Count evens at 1-1.
Doesn't always work.
Fastball came in at 90 miles an hour for Ryan Zimmer.
Very impressive.
The 1-1. One is swung on and grounded to short. Jeffress flips to Burton, who flips to Van Remortel for 2. Second double play of the afternoon. As Ryan Zimmer continues his efficient pitching. As we move to the bottom of the 4th here at Ray Fisher Stadium, I'm Owen Klein along Ryan Dolson. We're going to do a little bit of switch of roles. Ryan will now take play-by-play. I will shift over to color. Michigan leads it 6-1 over Toledo as we enter the bottom of the 4th.
I'm excited. I can't wait. Coming up on, as stated at the beginning of the broadcast, some of my last innings, actually, as a broadcaster. And as we saw right there, after that grand slam from the Wolverines, I think Toledo really needed some kind of a response in that inning, but nothing going to come out of it. As Leninger will continue to take the mound, taking on, he faced 2 batters as he came in as a relief in the previous inning, allowed a grand slam, and then caused an easy ground out for the 3rd out of the inning. That allowed the Wolverines to take a 6-1 lead despite only having 2 hits on the day. Lots of walks. We've seen quite a few from Michigan already. Toledo's had 3 walks today, and Michigan has had 4 that have put them on base. As number 22, Tito Flores, the senior designated hitter, steps up to the plate. His first at-bat in the second inning was a ground out to the shortstop, I believe. No, excuse me, that was actually a pop fly to the right fielder.
Michigan just got to look to continue having good at-bats, new pitcher in. Just continue fighting, being disciplined. You're up 6-1, so try anything crazy, but
Yeah.
Michigan's been great offensively today. They've been very disciplined. They're swinging at strikes and letting balls go by. You just got to continue with that approach as this game progresses.
Yeah, got to keep getting on base. Tito Flores coming in with a 202 average. As stated, over 1 on the day. Here's the first pitch. Just barely inside. Going to be called a strike. Catches Tito looking on that. As we head here, bottom of the 4th. Wolverines holding on to a 6-1 lead. Here's the 0-1. Swings at it, makes solid contact with it. That's going to go straight to the third baseman, who easily tags him out at first.
That's a good play.
After 2 pitches, Tito Flores out as Gabe Sotris, the catcher, bottom of the lineup for the Wolverines, takes the mount.
It was a good play by the third baseman, Sudbrook. Kind of picked it off the ground. Hard hit ball there by Velasquez. Good job throwing him out at first.
Gabe Sotris was walked in his only at-bat appearance in the 2nd inning. Let's see what he does here. First pitch way outside. Not going to swing at that one. Easily called for a ball. Gabe got a .216 batting average on the year. He has been walked not all that often, actually, on the year. Let's see. Here's the 0-1. Makes contact with it. That one has a lot of distance, but not the angular, as it is far left of the third base line. That one had the power, but not the accuracy, as it is going to be called for a foul ball. 1-1 count here now for Gabe. Leninger. That one was about 80 miles an hour. Here's the 1-1. Way outside. Catcher cannot get his mitt fully on it, but doesn't matter as no one is on base. Easily called for a ball. 2-1 count. 1 out here for Gabe. Bottom of the lineup would very much like to get on plate, as he makes some great contact on that one, but that's going to go straight to the left fielder, who easily catches it for the 2nd out of the inning. We are now at the top of the lineup for the Wolverines. Cody Jeffress stepping up to the plate after that easy line drive.
Yeah, Trey Wright initially looked like he came in a bit too much on that fly ball. Good job, though, of recovering and getting back to make the play. Another hard hit ball by Michigan. That time it was Sotres.
Yeah. Michigan making a lot of really great contact on so many. It really feels like they should have more than 2 hits, especially looking at the how much they got in the run column. But been very well fielded, as the first pitch just goes a little bit too much to the left of the third baseline. Had some solid contact, but that is easily a foul ball. Making it an 0-1 here for Cody Jeffress. He had a ground out to the second baseman, to the shortstop, in his first at-bat in the 1st inning, and was walked in the 3rd before eventually being sent home on that grand slam. As they are going to take a second, not quite sure. Cody Jeffress, not quite sure what's going on here.
Michigan training staff not coming out.
Michigan training staff.
I think Jeffress is okay. Might have tweaked something on that swing.
That does happen more often than you really like to see. Seems okay, but still just taking a couple practice swings as the trainers come out and look at him, make sure everything's okay, giving him a pat on the back. He's going to step back to the batter's box. Not 100% sure what happened right there, but just needed a second to himself, make sure everything was okay. As you said, very likely tweaked his something there as he returns to the plate. Here's the 0-1. That one just barely inside, going to be called for strike 2 by the umpire. 2 outs here at the bottom of the 4th.
Good to see Jeffress okay. See if he can get back right into it.
Definitely so. Still not quite sure what happened right there in a non-conference game like this. You definitely don't want to see your guys be getting hurt. Here's the 0-2. Make some contact on it, but that should be an easy fly ball to the center fielder, who does take care of it. Loses his hat there for a second. Not sure if he
comes with the wind.
That one behind it. Definitely went with the wind. You almost don't feel it here inside the press box, but that is going to be the 3rd out of the 4th inning as we head to the top of the 5th. Sudbrook on deck for Toledo, the third baseman, batting 6th. Troy Sudbrook. Trey Wright batting 7th, and then Wesley Parker batting 8th. You got 2 freshmen there and a sophomore sandwiched between them in that batting lineup as Ryan Zimmer will head back to the plate for the Wolverines after pitching 2 solid innings for this Wolverine squad.
I'm excited to see Zimmer back out there. He has been great.
Not really a whole lot of innings pitched, as you said,
Yep.
so far on the year, and he's really impressing me, I gotta say. He's only got, including the 2 innings he's pitched today, he's only got 8.1 innings pitched so far. 4.32 ERA on the year. Wolverines holding on to a very comfortable 6-1 lead as we head to the top of the 5th.
And if Zimmer finishes out this inning, he will have matched his career game high for innings pitched in a single game. Currently sits at 3 innings back actually on April 9th, so 10 days ago. His record for strikeouts in a game is 2. He's already matched that here this afternoon, so a couple records to either be tied or broken here for Ryan Zimmer. Actually, this is Walker Cleveland now, so another pitching change for Michigan.
You are right. There has indeed been a pitching change. This is going to be Walker Cleveland, left-handed pitcher. 6.75 ERA on 12 innings pitched on the year. Stat sheet hadn't been completely updated right as the inning began, but you are right. This is going to be Walker Cleveland,
and going back,
senior.
Going back to what we talked about earlier, as it pertains to this being a single game series, out of conference, Michigan's going to rotate their pitchers, keep that arm fresh. This is not a surprise, and it's not that Zimmer pitched bad. In fact, I thought he pitched great.
He pitched an incredible 2 innings, delivered exactly what this Wolverine squad needed out of him.
Certainly. Chance to experiment here for the Michigan coaching staff with Walker Cleveland.
As Sudbrook steps up to the plate, he was walked in his only at-bat appearance in the 2nd inning. First pitch going to be called a strike, catches him looking right down the middle.
And that pitch came in at 68 miles an hour. I love Cleveland starting off with the off speed.
Oh, yeah.
Throwing everything off for Sudbrook at the plate.
Yeah, definitely was not expecting that one. He didn't even think of swinging at that. Thinks about swinging at that 2nd pitch. They're going to say he went for it. That is going to be strike 2. He tries to pull back, doesn't manage to go all the way, but they say the umpires say that he went enough. 0-2 count here suddenly for Sudbrook. Cleveland, first 2 pitches, throwing 2 strikes. Here's the 0-2. Makes some solid contact with it, going right over to the right field, and he cannot make the catch. He drops that one as Sudbrook decides to round second. He will be safe. Don't know what happened there.
It's Joey Velasquez out and right. I think he had a good angle on it. Actually got to the ball, but it just dropped out of his glove.
It happens to the best of us,
He was going for the transfer from the glove to the arm and just ended up dropping it along the way. And Velasquez realizes his mistake.
Not quite sure why he felt to do that transition to the arm. There was no one on base. No need to make a huge throw to the field. As now suddenly, after that 0-2 count, really great start by Cleveland. Now there's suddenly a batter breathing down his neck on second base. As Wright steps up to the plate for Cleveland. He's going to decide to bunt it. Cannot make the catch.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you can necessarily call them errors, but
that was an
really
interesting
not what
dive.
Yeah, I mean, really not what you want to see. Cleveland, that was a bunt. Should have been an easy pop fly that went right to Cleveland. He had to run for it, tried to dive, could not make the catch. As now suddenly you have Wright on first and Sudbrook on third. He makes a run over to third base after that dropped catch.
And I think what's going through Cleveland's head there is if I make the pop fly catch, I'm going to be able to gun the runner out at second. Instead, ball hits the ground, and Sudbrook advances to third with Wright taking first. A couple of miscues by this Michigan defense early here in the bottom of the 4th as they have...
Top of the 5th.
Top of the 5th, rather, excuse me, as they have a bit of a mound meeting to get things sorted out.
Runners on the corners
I don't think the pitching has been bad from Walker Cleveland, but it's more of the defense that has had some miscues so far early. But, again, no runs given out Michigan with a comfortable lead, so they'll figure it out.
5-run comfortable lead. You got runners on the corners as Wesley Parker, the freshman first baseman, steps up to the plate. He's 0 for 1 on the day. Let's see what he can do here. He has only 4 RBIs on the year, and with the runner on third, you can definitely think he's looking to increase it. That first pitch from Cleveland way to the outside. Catcher has to step out of the box just to grab it. 1-0 count here. Still no outs here, top of the 5th. Wesley Parker at plate for Toledo. Swing and a miss on that 1-0 pitch. Going to be a strike. First strike of this at bat. Now suddenly a 1-1 count.
Good job by Cleveland working back, coming back with the strike. Very important there.
Absolutely. Here's the 1-1. Swings at it, makes contact to it. That's going to be a little floater, and another near miscommunication. Thankfully gets him out at first, but that is going to send a run in as Sudbrook makes it safely home to get the second run of the day for this Toledo squad. Going to be 6-2 as he is tagged out at first, and Wright advances to second.
And again, Ryan, you're right. That was almost another miscue, but that was a tough play for Cleveland and Van Mortal figuring out who was going to cover first and who was actually going to retrieve the ground ball. Luckily for Michigan, they make the out at first, but not without giving up a run.
Yeah. Konzak now stepping up to the plate for this Toledo squad. First pitch going to be a bit too low. Called for a ball. Konzak up to the plate. He's 0 for 1 on the day as Wright is now on second base. 1 out here at the top of the 5th. Here's the 0-1. Makes solid contact with it. Right fielder not going to be there for it. That's going to send another run, and he bobbles at Velasquez again. What is going on? This team is not in the right headspace this inning. Just mistake after mistake after mistake.
It was another kind of transfer bobble there from Velasquez. Actually fielded the ground ball nicely, but on the way up to the arm, he dropped it. And I'm not sure if that would have changed anything. It still might have been a double, an RBI double, but
still,
Michigan a bit in their heads here defensively.
Don't know what's going on, as that is going to be the second run of the inning that Toledo manages to get. Cuts Michigan's lead down to only 3, as 6-3, as they're going to have a meeting at the mound here. Don't really know what's going on. It seems like every single at-bat has had a mistake or a near mistake for this Wolverine squad. Really nothing going right.
And these, by no means, have been easy plays.
No.
And that's not to justify the mistakes that Michigan has made, but you look at that first Velasquez play, that was a running, kind of a lined fly ball, tough play for an outfielder to make. Should he have made it? Yes. And then you talk about that.
You make those mistakes every once in a while.
Right.
It can't be helped.
You talk about the pop-up bunt. Obviously, Cleveland dove, but he only got air on the dive. So I'm not sure about the decision to dive there. Maybe just play the ground ball cleanly and get the out.
As they are going to take Cleveland out and put in a new pitcher here for Wolverines. He is going to end his day 0 for 1 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 runs, one of them being an earned run, and no strikeouts. Not the day at the office I imagine he wanted, but that happens sometimes. Didn't give up the Wolverine lead as they still hold on to a 6-3, as trying to make out the number that is going to be Keyser stepping up. That is going to be Jake Keyser stepping up to the mound for the Wolverines. Number 39, the sophomore, is at 8.2 innings pitched so far on the year with a 15.58 ERA. 4 strikeouts on the year, though. Holding on to a still comfortable enough 3-run lead. 1 out here at the top of the 5th. Toledo's already had 2 runs that they've scored, as Konzak is the runner, the center fielder for Toledo is still going to be safe on second. Jake Keyser going to take a few seconds, get a couple more pitches in here. As we get ready to continue this top of the 5th inning. As we said, a couple mistakes, 2 errors called for this Wolverine squad. Some errors, understandable, of course. You got to still remember these are still, college kids, many of them playing. These mistakes are bound to happen. But just an inning really full of them that you just don't like to see. Hopefully with this pitching change, that helps everybody get into the right headspace again. let them know that those mistakes are not costly in any sense of the word. You still got a comfortable lead. You just let this new pitcher come in here and take care of business, get out of this inning.
If you're Jake Keyser, you said it, Ryan. Don't even think about the runner at second base. You've
No.
already got one out. Just get the batter in the box out. You're still up by 3. The goal is to get out of this inning and let your offense perhaps provide some more insurance for you.
Top of the lineup, Jerron Williams. He is 1 for 2 on the day. He got a single in the first inning in his first at-bat. First pitch by Keyser, going to be way outside. Catcher has to dive out of the batter's box just to grab that one. 1-0 count here. Still only 1 out at the top of the 5th.
Got to be careful here with Jerron Williams. 375 on the year. One of the best players in this game.
Here's the 1-0. Thinks about swinging at that one, does not, as that one is going to be called a strike by the umpire. 1-1 count now here for Keyser.
Big call there for Keyser getting that strike. Could have gone either way.
Yeah, definitely so. Changes the whole dynamic of this at-bat. Here's the 1-1. Thinks about swinging at that one, decides not to, as that one is a ball to the outside.
And Keyser is approaching Williams by giving him mostly outside pitches.
Daring him to swing at him. Has not really bit at any of them, though, yet. Here's the 2-1. Swings at it, makes some solid contact, and goes straight to the shortstop. He's going to make the throw to first, and they are going to call him out. Konzak gets to advance to third base, but that is going to be the second out of the inning here as Williams is tagged out at first.
Yeah, Jeffress played that perfectly. Again, there's a runner on second, so he quickly looked to third, realized he wasn't going to get him, so fired over to first to
Just
Van
in
Remortel.
time.
Just in time to get that
Another-
out. Big out, like we were saying. It's important to get these outs and not worry about the base runners.
For sure. We have 2 outs now as Brian Fry, the sophomore, steps up to the plate for the Toledo Rockets. He's got a runner on third. First pitch, just a little too low, going to be called a ball, 1-0.
Yeah, Fry has had 2 strikeouts in this game so far. Looking to at least put
Something
the ball
on
in
the
play
board.
in this at-bat.
Definitely. Here's the 1-0. Swings at it, makes some contact to it. That's going to go straight to the second base. He's going to fire it over to first. They're going to tag him out. That is going to be out number 3 of the inning. Keyser comes in, gets the Wolverines out of this scary scenario to take us to the bottom of the 5th. 2 runs for the Toledo Rockets there in that inning, but the Wolverines still holding on to a solid 6-3 lead.
Was that a web gem or what from
Wow.
Ted Burton? Pacing to his right, backhanding the ball, Derek Jeter style with the jump throw, barely getting the runner. Credit to Van Remortel as well, the first baseman. He's made a lot of good catches. He's gotten out in front of the ball. This Michigan defense, albeit with a couple of miscues this past inning, have overall been pretty solid, and Michigan retains that 6-3 lead.
That grand slam has truly proven to be a lifesaver here so far. That gave the Wolverines quite a bit of a cushion to make a couple mistakes this inning and still be comfortably, in front of Toledo. That was very impressive, though, by the second baseman there for the Wolverines. As you said, he makes that grab, fires it over to first base, jumping at it and getting that third out of the inning. If he hadn't done that, that would have allowed Toledo to get their 4th run of the day.
And again, I'm harping on this a lot, but for Michigan offensively, continue to be disciplined. Don't swing at any balls. You're up by 3. Take what the pitcher gives you. Due up for them is Burton,
sure.
Kim, and Longo, so some solid bats
Toledo.
on the way for Michigan.
Toledo, I do believe, has put in a new pitcher. Can't quite make out the number, but I believe Leninger's day is going to be done with 1.1 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 earned run allowed, and no strikeouts. You see that both teams really just going through all their pitchers today as Ted Burton steps up to the plate to be the first at-bat of this Wolverines inning. He bats second. He has been 0 for 2 on the day, including his last at-bat, which was a strikeout in the 3rd. As I believe that's number 26 for Toledo. That's going to be Matt Lolito, the junior right-handed pitcher coming into the plate. Yep, that is indeed Matt Lolito. He is 1 for 3 on the 1-3 on the season with 28 innings pitched and an 8.36 ERA. as previously stated, Ted Burton steps up to the plate. You got Jonathan Kim right after him and Joe Longo rounding out this lineup here at the bottom of the 5th. Wolverines up 6-3. Here's the first pitch. Swings at it, makes some great contact, but that is going to be a high fly ball out of play, well past the third baseline.
And Burton 0 for 2 this afternoon. He's been a great hitter for Michigan all season. Faces Toledo, who you mentioned, Ryan, sports an 8.36 ERA. So big opportunity for Burton here to get involved.
For sure. Here's the 0-1. Wind up and the throw. Thinks about swinging at it, decides not to, but that is going to be a perfect pitch right down the middle, called for a second strike. You can tell he really thought about swinging at that one, decided for whatever reason he just didn't like it. Pulls himself back. Here's the 0-2. And that one is going to be a little too low, going to be called for a ball.
Good discipline there by Burton. With 2 strikes, a lot of hitters get antsy and might swing at that low pitch. Good job by Burton to see it and hold back.
Was not one that he liked. So he gets set for the 1-2. There's the windup. And that is going to be a ball low into the outside, called for ball 2. Ties it up all even at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Still no outs.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, you want to tire out these Toledo arms if you're Ted Burton. 3 straight takes and count as at 2-2.
Oh, yeah. Here's the 2-2. Thinks about swinging at it. That is going to be called for ball 3. Very low. Just a little bit too low. You could tell he wanted to, but he's being very wise about his pitching selection right here.
Yeah, that one looked awfully close. If I'm a coach, I'm telling my player to swing at that.
Here's the full count. Swings at it, makes some contact, and it is going to go in between the shortstop, the second baseman, and the third baseman, all the way into the outfield, as he is going to be safe at first base. A great single right there. First hit of the day for Burton. That puts a runner on first with still no outs, and Jonathan Kim stepping up to the plate.
Yeah, great hit there by Burton, but also a great at-bat overall.
Oh, yeah.
Really picked his pitches wisely, showed off the good eye, and right on cue, Burton, first hit of the day.
For whatever reason, the score bug is not updating, despite not quite sure what's happening, but it is correct. It is indeed a 6-3 game at the bottom of the 5th. Wolverines with a runner on first. It's Jonathan Kim up at the plate. First pitch called a strike. As he gets ready, here's the 0-1. That pitch just going to be a little bit too low. Called for a ball. 1-1 count now.
See if Kim can continue adding on to this Michigan offense. Let's have a run today.
Here's the 1-1. Decides not to swing it. That one's going to be way too high. Called for a second ball. So he gets ready. 2-1 count. Still no outs here. Here's the pitch. Swings at it, makes some contact with it. That is going to be a high fly ball. Should be an easy catch for the shortstop, who does make it. That is going to be the first out of the inning, as the Wolverines has Burton steps back to first.
Yeah,
Joe Longo now stepping up to the plate.
Yeah, Kim got the bottom half of that ball. Would have broke on him a bit. Came in at 85. Burton, a good job of scampering back to first base. Be Joe Longo now for the Wolverines stepping into the plate. Longo 0 for 2. He's been consistent in this Wolverine lineup all season, though. First pitch floats in for a strike. Burton on first to the leadoff single. Kim then popped out to the second baseman, Fry. The 0-1 to Longo. One is swung on and grounded down the third baseline, foul. Count moves to 0-2. Michigan only 3 hits so far today, but 2 of which have accounted for 6 runs. You have the Joey Velasquez grand slam back in the third, as the Mitch Voigt 2-run home run back in the second. So Michigan doing a good job of drawing walks as I return it to Ryan Dolson.
Apologies for that, messing with the scorebook. Thank you so much for being patient. Gone a little gorilla style on it as we have the 0-2 pitch. Swings at it, makes contact. That's going to go straight to the third baseman. Going to get him out at second, and they are going to turn two for a double play to get them out of the bottom of this fifth inning.
It was a perfectly executed double play. Sudbrook at third, quickly gathering a hard hit ball, firing it over to second. Like you said, Ryan, ability to turn two has been integral for both these teams so far.
Oh, yeah. Really solid situation there for the Wolverines. Really seemed like those bats were starting to get cracking some more, but sometimes all it just takes one stray hit like that, just barely fair of the third baseline. Third baseman right there to get on top of it, make the tag out at second, and then make the throw at first. As we head to the top of the sixth inning, Wolverines holding on to a 6-3 lead. I believe Jake Keyser is still staying in for the Wolverines here. Naturally, has only pitched 0.2 innings so far on the day. As Sykes, the batting, excuse me for a moment, as the third in the lineup, the right fielder, who is 0 for 2 on the day, will be the first batter for the Toledo Rockets. He has been struck out twice in both at-bats, struck out in the first and struck out in the fourth. So we have Mason Sykes, the right fielder, followed up by Owen Jackson, the designated hitter, and eventually leading us to Braden White, the catcher. That is going to be the first, second, and third batters here at the top of the sixth.
So Keyser right back to work. A solid outing after taking over for Walker Cleveland last inning. See if he can continue the efficient pitching. For Michigan, the objective is clear as far as pitching. You don't want any pitcher to get too worn out. Again, this is a single game series, non-conference game, so Michigan being extremely meticulous with their pitching approach.
For sure. Definitely want to be able to get the win here. Very important game to win, but you don't want it to come at the expense of wearing out all your players. Sykes steps up to the plate. First batter, here's the first pitch. Just barely inside the strike zone. Sykes tried dodging out of the way of that one to make it seem more like a ball, but the umpire not going to fall for it. 0-1 count now. Here's the second. Swings at it, makes some contact to it, going to go straight to the pitcher. He bare hand catches it, tries to make the throw to first. He cannot hold on to the ball, as that he is going to be safe on first base. That was a very impressive bare-handed grab and throw over to first base, but just not the right angle. He has to stretch all the way out to get it. Van Remortel, but just cannot hold on to the ball. He is going to be safe at first.
Yeah, credit to Keyser for making his way over there. Kind of a tough play, bare-handed, but kind of faded away as he threw the ball. Van Remortel forced to get way out there for the pick. Actually got his glove on it, unable to reel it in, though.
Oh, yeah. As Jackson steps up to the plate. He is 0 for 0 on the day. I believe he has been walked twice. As that first pitch, just a bit too much to the outside, going to be called for a ball.
Jackson has shown extremely great plate discipline here today.
Oh, yeah.
Picking his pitches very wisely. He's already up 1-0.
Swing and a miss for the first strike of that at-bat. 1-1. You could tell he really wanted to clobber that one. You can always tell after that swing and a miss on that strike when they take an extra second before resetting. You can tell that that was a pitch they really wish they could have back. Sykes, as mentioned, safe at first. Still no outs here at the top of the sixth. 1-1 count for Jackson. Here's the pitch. They're going to call that one just a bit too low into the outside. Going to be called for ball 2. As stated, Jackson was walked in the second and eventually came home and was also walked in the fourth. He's got a 2.46 average. Here's the pitch. That one just barely to the outside. Going to be called for ball 3. Got a 3-1 count here. Jackson looking to be walked for the third time in his third at-plate appearance. Let's see what response Jake Keyser has teed up here. Here's the 3-1. Swings at it, makes some contact, but that is going to be a foul ball way behind, as that is going to make it a full count. Huge pitch coming up for Jack Keyser right here. No outs. Full count with a runner on first. Michigan still holding on to a 3-run lead. We'll see what he does here. Here's the 3-2. Swings at it, makes some contact. That is going to be yet another foul ball, way too high and out of play.
Jackson doing a great job of staying alive here in this at-bat. This will be his third quality at-bat in 3 total at-bats.
Oh, yeah.
So he has been a problem for Michigan pitchers to retire. Let's see if Keyser can get him here.
I'm sure Keyser would love to retire him right here. Here's another 3-2. Swings at it, makes some contact. That is going to be a high fly ball in between left field and center field. Center field cannot hold on to the ball. He was right underneath it, as that is going to allow Sykes to advance to third and Jackson to move on to second after that double. Yeah. Doing a little bit of posing as another Wolverine player drops what should be an easy fly ball. That is the third, fourth in the last 2 innings.
Yeah, Kim had a really good break on that fly ball out in center, but it looked like he actually overran
it. I was going to say, it looked like he
kind of hit him in the chest and fell down. Jackson able to take 2. Sykes was standing in between the base paths because he didn't know if Kim was going to catch that ball. He makes his way over the third.
It was in between the left and center fielder. It looked like maybe neither was going to get to it in time. Here's the first pitch for White. Swings at it, but not going to get anything going. Called for strike 1. Still no outs here at the top of the 6th. Runners on second and third for Toledo here. Huge opportunity for White. For Braden White, the catcher. Here's the 0-1. Make some contact with it. That is going to go to the third. That is going to go past the third baseman. Going to be called fair, as that is going to send in 2 runs. That is going to be a single for White, cutting down the Wolverines' lead to just 1, as it is a 6-5 game here.
And that is
not an ideal past 2 innings for this Wolverine squad. As that was just an incredibly impressive hit that just managed to get past the third baseman, Voigt, who dove for it, could not get on top of it, as that single sends in another 2 runs. Wolverines very comfortable, cushiony lead just 2 innings ago, now suddenly not amounting to a whole lot, as there is a runner on first. No outs here at the top of the 6th. Here's the first pitch. That is going to be a strike right down the middle. Catches Sudbrook looking, as Troy Sudbrook, the third baseman, steps up to the plate. He is 0 for 1 on the day. As Sudbrook gets ready for the 0-1 pitch. Keyser looking to get his first out of the inning. Here it is. Here's this pitch. That is one just going to be barely outside, called for a ball. 1-1 count.
Yeah, whether it's the pitching giving up these hits or the errors in the field, these last 2 innings have not been kind to Michigan.
Definitely not.
Toledo within 1 now.
Team definitely needs to get their head back in the game. Here's the 0-1. Really don't know why he swung at that. Looked like it was coming right at him. That should be an easy pop fly out for the right fielder, who does manage to get on top of it and make the catch for the first out of the inning. Really don't know why he swung at that. Looked like it was coming right at him, but clearly he disagreed, causing an easy pop fly out, as White will remain on first.
And it's got to feel good.
For sure.
It's got to feel good for Joey Velasquez making a play out there and right, even if it's routine. Obviously had a couple bobbles with the ball earlier in the inning and last inning.
That's Wright steps up to the plate for the Toledo Rockets. This is Trey Wright and Brandon White on first. 1 out here. Wright is 1-1 on the day. He had a fielder's choice in the 2nd inning, which sent in the Toledo's first run of the day, and a single in the 5th inning that eventually was sent home. 1-1 count here, still 1 out. Top of the 6th, Wolverines holding on to a very precarious 6-5 lead that seemed so dominant just 2 innings ago. Here's the pitch. Thinks about taking, as the White, thinks about taking second base, decides against it, as he gets a foul ball.
I don't blame you, Ryan. It's Wright batting and White on first. It's
It's getting my tongue twisted here, as it is suddenly a 1-2 count here for Trey Wright. There. 1-2 count. It's still only 1 out. So we get ready. Here's the pitch from Keyser. Swings at it, makes some solid contact. That's going to go right over to right field. He is not going to be able to get under it in time, as it makes a bounce. White is going to take third, and he is going to be safe with that single from Wright, putting him on first base. Now puts runners on the corners. The tying run at third with still only one out here as Parker takes the plate for these Toledo Rockets. Wesley Parker up to the plate. Catcher having a few words with Keyser. Get his head back into the game. That's Gabe Sotris, as the Wolverines desperately need an out to take him out of this inning. You really do not want Toledo to tie it up so quickly in just 2 innings, but there's still only one out. Here's the first pitch. That is going to be called a strike by the umpire. 0-1 count. Wright on first, White on third. Parker at the bat. He is 0 for 2 on the day, but he already has 1 RBI in the 5th inning. Let's see what he manages to do right here. Yes, thinks about swinging at that. That one's just going to be a ball a little too high, going to make it a 1-1 count. 1-1 count here with 1 out. Parker batting 8th in the lineup, the first baseman for the Toledo Rockets. Here's the 1-1. Thinks about swinging at it, decides against it. That one is going to be called a ball low, making the count 2-1.
Big at bat here for both
yeah.
Parker and Keyser.
You have the tying run on third and the take the lead run at first. Still only 1 out. Wolverines desperately need out of this inning. Here's the 2-1. He makes contact with it. Going to go past the third baseman as Toledo is going to tie the game up. A single there from Parker sends the tying run home, making it a 6-6 game. Unable to get any outs with that ground ball to the third baseman, who manages to not let it get past him, but is unable to get his glove on top of it to make the throw to either second or first base.
And if I'm Mitch Voigt, the third baseman, it looks like Cody Jeffress had a pretty good angle on that ground ball. Obviously, you don't have eyes in the back of your head, but if Voigt would have let that go, Jeffress might have been able to make that play at first. Michigan now in a very tough situation. Game is tied with 2 runners on, with a mound meeting.
And still only 1 out here in this inning. This game that suddenly seemed all Michigan's is now, really it seems that the momentum has gone all the way. I'd say it's completely in Toledo's favor right now.
Completely.
Michigan has been really unable to get anything going hit-wise in the last couple innings, and Toledo's bats have been on fire these last 2 innings, going from, I believe, 2 hits to now 8 hits over the course of just 2 innings, scoring 5 runs to tie this one up here. Not sure they are going to keep Keyser in, but you've got to imagine he needs to get out right here. Konzak stepping up to the plate. He is 1 for 2 on the day with an RBI happening in the 5th inning. Wright on second base, Parker on first, Konzak at the plate with still only 1 out here in this eventful 6th inning. Tie ball game at 6 apiece. This here is the pitch. Low, going to be called a ball by the umpire. Konzak wisely not going to swing at it, as Konzak is the center fielder at the bottom of the lineup here for this Wolverine squad, the sophomore. Runners on first and second. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Nearly hits him. Looked like it just curved the wrong way. That one is also going to be called a ball. 2-0 count for Konzak. Count. Runners on first and second. Tie ball game here at the top of the 6th. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That one also way to the outside. Going to be called for ball 3. Keyser really just not looking confident out there.
Michigan's struggling with their command as of late. I thought they were good pitching-wise early in the game, but lately they've been struggling.
Definitely so. As Keyser gets ready. Here's the 3-0. That one is going to be low for an easily called ball 4. Bases loaded with only 1 out in a tie game here. Things not looking good for this Wolverine squad right now. Keyser has got to get the Wolverines out of this inning, but has struggled with some, as we've said, some fielding errors that have happened over the past 2 innings. And
on top of all that, you got Jared Williams at the plate.
Jared Williams, top of the lineup. He is 1 for 3 on the day, but top of the lineup is always a batter to be scared of. Batting .737. He makes contact with the very first pitch. Going to go straight to the center fielder. That one is going to bounce. Toledo reclaims the lead for the first time since the second inning, going up 7-6. Still only 1 out here.
Center fielder Kim, it looked like he was initially going to try and break on that ball. Instead, ended up holding back and letting it bounce in front of him.
Toledo,
probably the safe play.
Toledo dugout getting loud and rowdy, having all the reasons to, especially recently, as Brian Fry steps up to the plate. He is 0 for 3 on the day, but he is one of only 2 batters right now on this Toledo squad without a hit. These Toledo batters have just been getting hit after hit after hit these past 2 innings. Still only 1 out here. Bases loaded. Toledo with a 7-6 lead. First pitch going to be to the outside, called a ball. One and 0 count. Keyser looking to get an out, as he is going to call time. As there's going to be a pitch, a visit to the mound. As
we'll see if Keyser gets pulled here. Pitch count is at 31. I would imagine he would. There are a couple Michigan pitchers warming up in the bullpen.
Keyser so far has had 1 inning pitched, allowing 5 hits, 4 runs, 1 walk, and no strikeouts. Not his day at the office. These past 2 innings have really not been anyone's day at the office on this Wolverine mound, as they have allowed 6 runs in the last 2 innings, and there's still only 1 out here at the top of the 6th. It does seem, I do see a new pitcher approaching the mound. It does seem that the Wolverines are going to take him out and put in Jacob Denner, the left-handed pitcher, to try to salvage something out of these last 2 innings. It has been rough for this Wolverine squad. He is 0 for 5 on the year, 37 innings pitched with a 5.84 ERA. Some impressive numbers as Jake Keyser makes his walk back to the dugout. 7-6 lead here for Toledo. What seemed like a comfortable, cushiony lead not only 2 innings ago is completely evaporated here, as Toledo goes up 7-6, 9 hits. Most of them come in the last 2 innings. Wolverines pitching, as we've stated all day, you really don't want to put in some of your best pitchers, wear them out before you have a huge conference series. As you get closer and closer to the end of the series, you don't want to wear your guys out in a non-conference game like this, but you need some guy out there to instill some confidence in this team who really just look somewhat lost out there. Bases do remain loaded. You have Parker on third, Konzak on second, and Williams at first. Still only 1 out here in the top of the 6th. 1 and as he will take over for a 1-0 count from Keyser. So they will as stepping up to the plate. It will be the same batter, actually. Brian Fry, who is 0 for 3 on the day. He has been struck out twice and grounded out to second base in the 5th inning. Wolverines desperately needing some kind of response here, as this inning is still not yet over. Down, giving up 4 runs in this inning and losing their lead. Toledo still only 1 out, as Jacob Denner steps up to the plate, looking to get the Wolverines out of this nightmare of an inning. Makes contact on the first pitch, but that is going to be a foul tip, easily out of play, called for a strike. 1-1 count now for Fry.
Double play would be
ideal.
Amazing for Michigan to get right now. They have a couple already.
Would be an excellent kickstart to get him out of this inning and hopefully get the bats moving next inning. That's going to be a strike, just barely inside, called for a strike 2 right there by Jacob Denner, making it a 1-2 count here on Fry. Very likely looking to close him out here with this pitch. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. He is not going to, that is going to be strike 3. Thinks that the catcher dropped it, but with bases loaded, that is just going to be out number 2. Denner comes in, immediately taking care of business to strike out that first batter that he faced for the 2nd out here in the top of the 6th. Number 22, Sykes, stepping up to the plate. He is 1 for 3 on the day, was struck out in the first and fourth inning, but got a single in the sixth that eventually sent him home. As Toledo is now batted around the whole lineup here. Sykes was the first batter to start out the inning and is now coming back to the plate for his second at-bat. 2 outs here. First pitch low to the outside. Base is still loaded. Here's the 1-0. That is going to make contact on it, but that is going to be out of play for a foul ball. 1-1 count now suddenly.
And Denner has taken over an impossible situation quite nicely so far.
Yeah.
I mean, we're only 1 batter in, but
He suddenly got Sykes on a 1-1 count.
he could be the answer Michigan's looking for.
Here's the 1-1. That is just going to be barely to the outside. Going to be called for a ball.
Awfully close.
Awfully close for sure. That makes it a 2-1 count. Toledo with bases loaded, looking to add on to their lead. They have not been up by more than 1 all day. And here's a pitch, makes contact with it. That is going to be another foul ball out of play. That one going into the car lot. Hope it's not going to hit anyone or anything. As it is a 2-2 count here with 2 outs here, top of the 6th. Crucial pitch right here. See if Denner can't get him out of the inning. Here's the 2-2. Swings at it, makes contact. That is going to be yet another foul ball out of play. Hitting the net right behind home plate. Count will remain 2-2 after these pitches. Jacob Denner struck out the first batter he faced. Here's the second. And another foul ball. Staying alive in the count despite it still only being 2-2 is Sykes.
Sykes doing an amazing job of fighting here, like you said, Ryan.
Oh, yeah. He's seeing lots of pitches that he's liked, you know. Managed to stay alive in the count and even still has an extra ball or two to work with. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss for strike 3. That is going to be out number 3 of the inning. Wolverines finally out of this top of the 6th inning as Toledo manages 4 runs to reclaim the lead. 7-6 here as we enter the bottom of the 6th. Not an ideal inning for the Wolverines in any sense of the word, I have to say.
Definitely not, as Toledo retakes the lead, but Michigan, and specifically Denner, are doing a good job of getting out of that inning.
Yeah.
The offense has been there for Michigan, and they still have 4 more chances rather, to put runs on the board. So this game is far from over, yes. Has the momentum shifted to Toledo? Certainly, but got a lot of baseball left to play.
That's why you play 9 innings. And
right,
not just
exactly.
1.
And Michigan's offense has been good. It's just a matter of their pitching, and I think Denner at least provides a temporary solution.
For sure.
They'll need to address that later in the game.
Michigan perhaps getting just a tad bit too confident, putting in some of their lesser pitchers who Toledo certainly took advantage of, scoring 6 runs over 2 innings. But as you said, Denner came in, stopped the bleeding, and given the Wolverines a chance as Matt Lolito steps up, returns to the mound for the Toledo Rockets squad. Jack Van Remortel will be the first at-bat of this inning. He is 0 for 1 on the day. A ground out in the 2nd inning, and then a walk in the 3rd that eventually sent him home off of that huge grand slam that the Wolverines got. Batting-wise, Wolverines still only with 3 hits on the day. Actually, looking at the stats, Toledo has been 9 for 25 on hits, while the Wolverines have been 3 for 16. And despite such a huge disparity, 6 more hits than the Wolverines, Toledo only leading by 1 more run. Jack Van Remortel starts off the inning, followed by Joey Velasquez and then Mitch Voigt. These are the kind of batters I think you want stepping up to the plate here to reclaim the lead for the Wolverines. Let's see what they do. Here's the first pitch. That one's just going to be a bit to the outside, going to be called a ball for Jack Van Remortel.
Yeah, Van Remortel 0 for 1 on the day, grounded out and walked, but he's been good at the plate. He's been disciplined. He's had a great year, and I think he showed off that discipline, just unable to get a hit so far.
Here's the 1-0 count. Has to dodge out of the way of that one. Easily called the ball. Going to make it 2-0. As you stated, yeah, he is having a very solid year. He's got a .312 average So he can get on base. He can get those hits. Just hasn't happened yet today. As that next pitch is going to be low into the outside, going to be called for ball number 3.
Again, showing off the discipline here. Let's see if Van Mortal can get on either through a walk or possibly a hit later in the at-bat.
For sure. Here's the 3-0 pitch from Toledo. That one is going to be a strike right down the middle. Jack Van Mortal not liking it, deciding not to swing at it, realizes that he has count in his favor to work with. He is going to let that one go down for a strike. 3-1 count. Still no outs. Here's the pitch. That one is going to be called to the outside for a ball 4. Jack Van Mortal will walk to first base for the second time today as Joey Velasquez steps up to the plate. He is 1 for 1 on the day. He was hit by pitch in the second inning and, well, as I'm sure you all remember, hit a grand slam in the third. As Toledo going to have a visit to the mound. It seems that they are going to have a pitching change that will end Matt Lolito's day. He had 1 inning pitched, allowed 1 hit, 1 walk, and no runs. A very solid day, but not the count that they wanted to see from him, not the first batter they wanted to see from him in this inning, as Toledo will send in a new pitcher to take over. I want to know just how many different pitching changes we've had all game for both teams combined. It's got to be a ridiculous number.
There has certainly been a lot. Michigan has had 4 total pitchers, and Toledo has had 3 total pitchers.
But
and
4
this
now.
is their 4th.
This will be their 4th.
Correct. So
as can't make out who the new pitcher is going to be. That's number 27, I believe. So right up next in the numbers lineup, that's going to be Cal Mechanic, the senior right-handed pitcher, is going to take over. I do believe that is number 27. Oh, excuse me. No, that is number 37. Those numbers, they look so similar. Such a small number on the front of their jersey. He is actually number 37, not number 27. As Kyle Music, the junior, will take over. He is also a right-handed pitcher. He's got an 8.10 ERA through 16.2 innings pitched and a 3-2 win-loss record on the year. Toledo going to allow him to warm up for just a second. Jack Van Mortal, as previously stated, will be safe on first base as Joey Velasquez warms up. As stated, he hit the excellent grand slam in the 3rd inning that gave the Wolverines a very comfortable lead that has since gone away. Toledo up 7-6.
And Van Mortal starting off the inning with a walk. That's what you need in a long offensive game like this. Just chipping away, getting base runners. Michigan's made plenty of contact. Both teams really have made plenty of contact. And not, swinging for the fences every pitch, but taking more of a long-term approach and really gathering base runners, being disciplined at the plate. I think Michigan's doing a good job of that, and if they continue doing it, it's certainly possible they can get back into this game.
For sure. Still plenty of baseball left as Velasquez steps up to the plate. Kyle Music. Interesting last name. Kyle Music gets ready. Here's the first pitch. Swing and a miss from Velasquez, who really wanted all of that one, but ends up coming away with none of it for the first strikeout. For the first strike, nearly got ahead of myself, for the first strike of this at bat. As stated, Jack Van Mortal is on first base as Joey Velasquez gets ready for the 0-1 pitch. That one is going to. That one almost looked like it hit him, but it did not. But that one allows Jack Van Mortal a wild pitch, getting past the catcher, allows Jack Van Mortal to steal second base with ease. That one going to be called a ball, making it a 1, obviously, with a 1-1 count.
Yeah, Van Mortal, good awareness there, realizing it didn't hit Velasquez, able to take second on the wild pitch.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I certainly thought it hit him. I heard a contact sound that made it sound like he got hit, but evidently did not. We'll make the count 1-1. Still no outs here with Jack Van Mortal now on second base. Here's the pitch. Swings at it, makes some contact, but that is going to be a foul ball. As the count now goes to 1-2. 1-2 count here for Joey Velasquez, as stated. He is 1 for 1 on the day. 4 RBIs and 2 personal runs, as the walk he had in the second inning also allowed him to come home on a 2-run shot. 1-2 count here. Velasquez has been a dangerous batter all day. Here's the pitch for Music. Swings at it, makes some contact. That is going to be an excellent hit that should send Jack Van Remortel home, and does. An excellent single from Joey Velasquez, his 5th RBI of the day, allows the Wolverines to tie it back up at 7 apiece here. Still no outs here at the bottom of the 6th.
Beautiful piece of hitting there from Joey Velasquez, waiting on the fastball and hitting it the other way into left center. Able to drive in that run, and you're right, Ryan. That's
That
5th
one was
RBI
obvious.
of the day. That's definitely got to be a personal record for him, I would imagine. Maybe a Michigan record for this season, perhaps.
as
I get a
Voit-
stat check on that.
Not quite sure. I'll check in a minute. As Mitch Voit steps up to the plate. He is 1 for 2 on the day, his only hit being a 2-run homer in the second inning that gave the Wolverines their first lead of the day. He is 1 for 2 on the day. However, he had a ground out in the third. As he steps up to the plate, he makes some contact on that second pitch, but that one should be going straight to the center fielder, who makes the grab.
The Konzak had to jump up and get that one.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
think he broke nearly enough backwards when Voit hit that ball.
But that was a real excellent grab,
It
honestly.
was. It
Have to
was.
say, by Konzak, getting the first out of the inning. Velasquez will remain on first after that huge contact hit from Voit does not manage to bear any fruit. But that hit from Velasquez, that was so impressive. You just knew immediately when he hit that was nobody near Toledo, and you knew that was going to send a run home. 1 out here as Tito Flores steps up to the plate, bottom of the lineup, the catcher for the Wolverine squad. As that first pitch is going to be a foul ball up and out of play.
If Flores looking to get on base, he's grounded out in both of his at-bats this afternoon.
He is indeed 0 for 2 on the day.
Michigan needs him to get going as they enter the latter parts of the season.
He is batting a 200 average. Here's the 0-1. That one is going to be a ball low. 1-1 count now. Bottom of the 6th here. Tie ball game at 7 apiece. Wolverines answer back with a very nice run, and I don't imagine they want to stop there just yet. Here's the 1-1 pitch from Music. Swings at it, makes some contact. That should be an easy pop fly to the same center fielder, who does indeed take good care of it. Velasquez will remain on first base. Tito Flores, 0 for 3 so far on the day as we head to the top of the lineup. No, excuse me. Gabe Sotris is at the bottom of the lineup. Tito Flores is batting 8th, the designated hitter. Gabe Sotris, the catcher, is batting last on the day, and he is 0 for 1. Was walked in the second inning and had a fly out in the 4th. With Velasquez on first, we'll have to see what Gabe does. He is batting .214 on the day, as that is going to be a wild pitch, and they are going to call him safe at second. I do not agree with that call at all, but it will benefit the Wolverines regardless, as Velasquez steals first base on that wild pitch. Catcher manages to get on top of it, throw it over to second, but not in time. He will be safe on second base.
I don't think Velasquez realized that the catcher could have made that play. I think he just
don't think he
assumed
did
it was
either.
a wild pitch, and he took off for second. Looked like the ball completely beat him there. Now, I'm not sure if the shortstop Williams applied the tag.
I suppose
I
not.
think
The umpire.
that's got to be
yeah.
the discussion here.
The umpire having a discussion with the Toledo manager.
He's going to be called safe here. Velasquez
they
taking
are.
some time to get back down to second. He's a power hitter. That
For
doesn't mean
sure.
he zips around the base paths.
Gabe Sotris now with a runner in scoring position. Velasquez on second base with a 1-0 count. But 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. Let's see what Gabe can do. Here's the pitch. Thinks about swinging at it. Made contact with it, an odd foul tip, I believe. That wasn't a full swing, but will regardless be called for a strike as it manages to go well behind him and out of play. 1-1 count here for Gabe. Kyle Music getting ready for the windup and the throw. Gabe Sutras thinks not sure what happened there. He definitely, I think, was regretting that swing as soon as he took it. That was a very low ball and makes no contact with it. Called for strike 2. 1-2 count here now for Gabe. As he had to do a bit of a sword chop or something at that one and did not make contact for the second strike. Here's the 1-2. That one is going to be way out of the batter's box. Catcher has to jump out of it just to make the grab and ensure it doesn't result in another wild pitch. 2-2 count here now for Gabe. Sotris 0 for 1 on the day, but was walked. Here's the 2-2. Swings at it, makes some solid contact, but that one's going to go right to the outfield, right to the center fielder. Oh! And the right fielder and him nearly make contact, but they managed to communicate that well. That is going to be an easy pop fly. Third out of the inning. We are tied at 7 apiece as we head to the top of the 7th. Solid inning from the Wolverines allows them to undo the lead that Toledo had taken, but not much else as we head to the top of the 7th.
So Michigan able to tie it back up, Ryan.
Indeed,
and
they
back
did.
at the bottom of the 6th. Still work to do, but it's good to see that offense is still producing now.
For sure.
The manner of this pitching.
A good
6 total
response
runs given up in the last 2 innings for Michigan's pitching. We'll see if they can continue riding the way that they did late in the 6th with Jacob Denner on the mound.
Yes, it does look like Jacob Denner is going to return to the mound. Struck out 2 batters, got the Wolverines out of that scary scenario there in the last inning where it really seemed like they could not stop the bleeding. But that was a solid response inning from the Wolverines, I would have to say. Maybe you would have liked a few more runs. You don't like stranding a man on second base like that. But in the face of just run after run after hit after hit after hit from Toledo, it's good to send your batters out there, get a run to tie it back up, and let them know they are still capable of scoring. They are still capable of getting those hits when they need them. Come out here, stop the mistakes. Don't cause any errors here at the top of the 7th, and just keep the bats a-swinging, hopefully, as you can get a quick 1-2-3 out inning right here. That is definitely what Jacob Denner is looking to do. He took on 2 batters in the last inning and took care of them with ease. As it is going to be the designated hitter for Toledo, Owen Jackson, who bats 4th, stepping up to the plate for the Rockets to start out the inning. Following him, it will be Braden White and then Troy Sudbrook, 2 men who made a heck of an impact in the previous inning. Jackson is 0 for 2 on the day, but has sent in 2 runs. He is 0 for 1 on the day, but he has been walked twice and was sent home on one of them and had a pop fly in the previous inning that sent yet another run home. First pitch, swing and a miss from Jackson. That is going to be a strike, making the count 0-1 here for the designated hitter. Sun really starting to shine out here on the field, as that second pitch is going to be a bit too low and to the outside. Catcher has to scoop that one up from stopping it from getting behind him. That'll make it a 1-1 count after that ball. Sun really shining brightly down here on us at the batter's box. Sky is really cleared up. Not exactly a warm day, but certainly no longer cloudy. He's going to make great contact with that hit, but that should be an easy fly ball to Velasquez, who makes the grab for the first out of the inning.
Good to see Velasquez getting back in it defensively again.
For
I mentioned
sure. Made a
the
couple
2
mistakes.
miscues. Yeah, it's good to see
miscues would I do think would be the more appropriate word.
Yeah, it's good to see him make a couple fly ball outs and get back in that groove defensively. Playing the outfield, I played in high school, and I know it's not the same level, but if you don't see one for a while, you kind of get out of it.
For
It's
sure.
good that Velasquez is staying busy.
As White steps up to the plate, that first strike he wanted to rip, but he gets none of it, called for a strike. Caught him swinging. 0-1 count here now with 1 out here for Braden White. He's having a heck of a game. 2 for 3 on the day, 2 RBIs and 1 hit, as that second pitch is going to be a bit too low. Not gonna bite at it, giving him a 1-1 count. Top of the 7th, tie game, 7 apiece. Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss, called for strike 2 on White there. Pitch was maybe a bit too to the outside, but He liked it and he wanted it, and comes away with none of it. 1-2 count now.
See if Denner can retire White here to be a big second out.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He is having a heck of a day. He has been a threat for Toledo. Here's the 1-2. Makes contact with it, and that one is going to go over the shortstop's head, and that will be yet another single, allowing him to go 3 for 4 on the day. That was a great little hit. Shortstop wanted to jump up for it, but just a little bit too much over his head. Going to go to the right fielder who throws it in, keeping that one a single. Sudbrook now stepping up to the plate for the Toledo Rockets. He is 0 for 2 on the day, but still has gotten 1 run in. As there is 1 out here and now a runner on first.
Yeah, Sudbrook reached on an error back in the 5th. I think it was that Velasquez error.
For sure, as he makes contact on the very first pitch, but that is going to be a high foul ball way out of play.
Denner with a nice start. He's kind of keeping that groove going from last inning. I think he's definitely the temporary solution for Michigan. Again, you don't want him to go too far, and you don't want to tire his arm out too much, but he's doing a good job here.
Here's the 0-1 count. That is going to be a strike just barely inside the zone right there. Called for strike number 2. Sudbrook suddenly finds himself in an 0-2 count. As he is batting .265 on the year. Runner on first. Here's the 0-2. Swings at it, makes contact with it. That is going to be a foul ball to keep him alive in the count. You have Braden White on first base for Toledo. He has been a threat and a half. I've said it over and over again, but he is playing very impressively today for this Toledo Rocket squad. Here's the 0-2 from Denner. That is going to be just barely to the outside, called for a ball.
It's a great pitch by Denner, outside, like you said, Ryan.
Really wanted him to bite on that one, yeah.
Sudbrook didn't swing, but Denner's got control here, I think.
That'll make it a 1-2 count now. Here's the pitch. Swings at it, makes some great contact, going over to center field, who makes the catch for the second out of the inning. White going to head back over to first, unable to advance to second on that one.
Michigan's outfielders have picked it up since the craziness of the 5th and 6th innings.
Yeah.
Kim with a nice play there after the Velasquez play. 2 quick outs for Michigan. Let's see if Denner can get out of this inning.
As Trey Wright steps up to the plate for this Toledo squad. He is 2 for 2 on the day. He's got 1 RBI and 2 runs in on the day. Not sure. No, this is actually going to be a pitch hitter. That is going to be number 3, Cade Root, the senior, who is going to come in and pinch hit. He is batting .300 on the year, but from looking at his stats, it doesn't look like he's had a lot of at-bats.
Only 10 at-bats for Root, 3 hits on 10 at-bats, has struck out 4 times.
As that first pitch is going to be called a strike, giving him an 0-1 count now.
I think you got to attack the zone here if you're Denner. You don't want to give Root anything too easy to hit, but he has struck out in 40% of his at-bats so far this season.
That second pitch is going to be just a bit too low, called a ball. 1-1 count as you still have a runner on first base. 2 outs here at the top of the 7th. Tie ball game at 7 apiece. Here's the 1-1. That one just barely to the outside, going to be called a ball. Yeah, as you definitely said, you don't want to be giving him any too easy pitches. You're going to want to trying to bait him on some pitches outside the strike zone, but you got to make sure you can get those strikes first. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That one way to the outside. Catcher has to jump out of the batter's box just to grab that one. Suddenly find themselves at a 3-1 count, with Denner taking on the pinch hitter Root.
Got to attack the zone here if you're Denner. Do not want to give up a walk.
Definitely not. Here's the 3-1. Swings at it, makes contact with it. That one goes straight to the Toledo dugout. Some of the players having to duck out of the way of it just in time. That is going to give him a full 3-2 count with 2 outs here at the top of the 7th. Very crucial pitch, very crucial at-bat happening right here. As Root prepares himself for the full count pitch. Here's the 3-2. That is going to be called a ball 4 to the outside. Root gets to take his first base as White advances to second.
It's a big walk there for Root and for Denner, the pitcher, as well. Extends the inning. Now 2 runners on for Parker, who had an RBI single back in the 6th. So Michigan looked good early in this inning.
That is going to be Denner's first walk of the day. Of course, hasn't pitched too much, only 1.1 innings pitched, but regardless, not a walk you want to be giving up. As you stated, Parker stepping up to the plate. Here's the first pitch. That one going to be just a bit, I believe that was a ball? Just a bit too low, I believe. Yes, they were a little slow on putting that on the scoreboard. That is makes it a 1-0 count with 2 outs here for Parker. Here's the 1-0 from Denner. Swings at it, makes some solid contact. That'll be a pop fly that looks like it's going out of play, and it will. You saw right fielder, you saw Velasquez rushing to make the dash to try and grab that one, but that one manages to go out of play, making the count 1-1 for Parker, who is 1 for 3 on the day, and as you stated, 2 RBIs. He is definitely not a batter to be taken lightly here in this 1-1 count. Here's the pitch. That one is going to be called for strike 2, just barely inside.
Good pitch by Denner, attacking the zone with the fastball. Moves the count to 1-2.
Oh, yeah. Indeed, moves the count to 1-2. Very big pitch right here. Here's the pitch. That one's just barely going to be called a ball.
Couple close calls here. Last at bat on the final pitch to Root.
Yeah.
That could have gone either way. Now this one, 2-strike pitch against Parker, could have gone either way.
Yeah. That one is going to be called a ball, keeping Parker alive in the count. 2-2 with 2 outs here. Here's the pitch. That one going to be called for ball number 3, just a bit too low, giving Denner another full count.
And Denner has to attack the zone here.
For sure.
Absolutely has to.
You cannot be walking this guy. You cannot make bases loaded here. Here's the 3-2. Swings at it, makes contact in it, but that is going to be a foul ball up and out of play.
And Denner is attacking the zone, but these Toledo hitters are doing a great job of fouling pitches away that they don't like. That was another fastball there.
Yeah, for sure. They have done an excellent job all day, really, today of staying alive in the count. I can't count how many times it seemed like they were dead to rights with 2 strikes, only to keep a close eye in the next several pitches. Here's the 3-2. That is going to be a contact, and that is going to get past the shortstop. That is going to send a run home for Toledo as they reclaim the lead 8-7 here at the top of the 7th. That single there from Parker will be his 3rd RBI of the day. Sends Root over to third base and puts him safe at first. Not the at-bat Denner wanted. Really seemed like he had him with 2 strikes, 2 balls right there, but could not put him away as Kongzak steps up to the plate. Bottom of the lineup, the center fielder for Toledo, who is 1 for 2 on the day, including an RBI in the 5th inning. Runners on the corners. Huge at-bat for Denner. Here's the first pitch. That one is going to be a ball to the outside. 1-0 count.
Got to be careful with Konzak again. Back in the 5th, RBI double. In the 6th, he drew a walk. I think Denner's doing a good job. It's just that these hitters are tough.
Yeah, that is going to be a strike. He catches him swinging for the first strike of the at-bat. 1-1 count now. Yeah, as you said, these Toledo batters have been real tricky. You feel like you have them, and then suddenly, they just get taking the right pitches. Here's the 1-1. That one is going to be low and to the outside, easily called for ball number 2. But there's been so many moments where it seems like the Wolverine pitchers have had these Toledo guys with a favorable count in the pitcher's eyes, and suddenly just a couple very close balls that allow them, and a couple foul balls to stay alive in the count that allows them to get over to base. Here's the next pitch. That one is going to be a foul ball up and out of play, called for strike number 2. We got a 2-2 count here now for Konzak. 2 outs here at the top of the 7th. Toledo sent a man home in for the last at-bat, allowing them to reclaim the lead 8-7. They've had 11 hits on the day. As he takes an extra second to get ready for this pitch. 2-2 count here for Denner. Here's the pitch. Swings at it, makes some solid contact, but that one is also going to be yet another foul ball out of play. And as I've said, these Toledo Rockets so good at staying alive in the count. Solid contact on that foul ball right there allows for Denner to have to throw more and more pitches, wearing his arm out, getting him more tired far more quickly. Here's the 2-2. Swings at it, makes some contact to it. That one is going to go past the first baseman. That is going to send a second run in for the Toledo Rockets here in this inning, as that is going to send a runner, that is going to send Parker over to third base. Toledo with their biggest lead of the day, going up 9-7 here in the top of the 7th. Wolverines just unable to get out of these innings.
And they keep finding holes in that Michigan defense via the ground ball. A lot of Michigan infielders have been diving, but Toledo doing a good job of ball placement and finding the gaps.
This Toledo dugout has been so loud today, but they have had so much reason to cheer in these last 3 innings. They just keep finding holes. They keep finding gaps to exploit. Denner, man, is going to stay in here. Runners on the corners again with 2 outs as Williams, top of the lineup, steps up to the plate. He is 2 for 4 on the day with 1 RBI. First pitch right down the middle, going to be called a strike. Williams has a single in the first and a single in the 6th. The single in the 6th inning sent in an RBI though. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, no contact on that, called for strike number 2. Denner in a favorable count, 0-2. He has allowed 2 runs in this inning to allow Toledo to reclaim the lead, but looking to get him out of this one. Here's the 0-2. That one way to the outside. Catcher has to dive out of the batter's box just to grab that one. Called for the first ball. Runners on the corners for Toledo. Catcher can't be letting any pitches get past them, as that would very easily send the runner from third home. As they have a 9-7 lead. Here's the 1-2. Swings at it, makes contact, and that is going to bounce to the center fielder, and that is going to send in yet another run. 3rd run of the inning for Toledo as they take a 10-7 lead against this Wolverine squad, who just has not had a response defensively for these last 3 innings.
A well-hit ball there by Williams as a Toledo dugout continues to go crazy.
Yeah. Michigan has not given them a reason to be silent lately, as they take a 10-7 lead here at the top of the 7th. Runners again on the corners for Denner, who is going to stay in. Actually, seemed that there is going to be a meeting at the mound. Seemed like it should have been an easy 3 outs to end the inning, but Toledo managing to stay alive and suddenly getting hit after hit after hit again here in the top of the 7th. They've scored 9 runs in the last 3 innings. That is not an ideal stat, no matter how you slice it.
And it's a combination of play discipline as well as just hitting ability, right? I mean, these Toledo pitchers are seeing these balls really well and placing them accordingly.
Michigan has just simply not had a response. You had that first inning with Michigan players, the first inning or 2 of Michigan players just bobbling what should have been easy catches, dropping balls, not really making the right kind of heads-up plays that you'd expect a player to be doing. And then suddenly now Toledo, their bats are just on fire. You don't even really see Michigan players making any kind of mistakes anymore, but they just cannot stop them. As Brian Fry, second in the lineup, who has been 0 for 4 on the day, steps up to the plate. Denner is going to remain in with 2 outs here at the top of the 7th. Runners on the corners. Fry, as stated, 0 for 4 on the day. Here's the first pitch. Thinks about batting, pulls it back, but that one is going to be called strike 1 regardless.
I like the idea by Fry to square up and bunt, kind of throw that Michigan defense off, especially with runners at the corners. Interesting move there.
As he's going to run, as that is going to be called a ball to the outside, as Williams steals second base right there. Runners no longer on the corners. Runners now on 2nd and 3rd for Fry here in this 1-1 count. 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. Toledo has already scored 3 runs to take a 10-7 lead. Here's the 1-1. Thinks about swinging at it, decides not to. That one is just barely going to be outside the strike zone. 2-1 count now, called for a ball.
At this point, if you're Denner, just focus on the batter. And I've been saying that. I'm sure he's been doing that. But with runners on 2nd and 3rd and 2 outs, you cannot afford to have your mind wander.
For sure. That one is going to be a strike right down the middle. Catches him looking. 2-2 count now. Great chance to put away the inning for Denner. Let's see what he does right here against Fry. 2-2 count. Here's the pitch. Swings at it, makes contact with it, but that is going to be a foul ball up and out of play.
So many
Staying
two-strike foul
alive
balls
in the count. I know. I don't even know how many they've had, but just at bat after at bat after at bat, they've had chances to put them away, but they stay alive with those second strike fouls, only to clobber it on the very next hit. That one is going to be a ball to the outside. Suddenly, it is a full count for Fry.
Another awfully close pitch there. And we've seen a lot of those with 2 strikes, and those could go either way. Andy Joseph decided to play conservative here, but
I suppose so. Here's a full count with 2 outs. Swings at it, no contact. That is going to be a strikeout, and out number 3 of the innings. Wolverines out of that one, but not until Toledo Rockets managed to take a 3-run lead. 10-7 here as we enter the bottom of the 7th. It really seemed like that was the inning where the Wolverines start to get back into it. They tighten up the mistakes. They start sharpening that iron, but suddenly with 2 outs, Toledo just went red hot, hit after hit after hit after hit, scoring 3 runs to take the lead, 10-7, with only 3 more opportunities for the Wolverines in terms of innings.
yeah, definitely got a ball game here, and Michigan's got some ground to make up. 3 more half innings to try to match that run total of 10 by Toledo, and Michigan with the top of the order due up is actually looking good based on their production today. Only 4 hits to Toledo's 13, but Michigan has gotten on base via walks, and they have also hit their runners in quite well. The base running's been good too, with the exception of I believe Sotre's being caught stealing earlier in the game, but Michigan's just got to continue fighting at the plate and creating opportunities by getting on base.
As the 7th inning stretch occurs in between the top and the bottom of the 7th, playing the Wolverine favorite, Mr. Brightside. As the Wolverines get step up, as you said, you have a really solid lineup stepping up to the plate. You're definitely going to need a couple response hits, preferably at least 1 response run here in the bottom of the 7th. Let Toledo know that you're not going to go away that easily. As we get ready, setting up for the next inning, Toledo sending in a new pitcher. That's going to be Kyle Pejazic, I believe. I apologize if I'm pronouncing that one incorrectly. As yet another pitching change here for these Toledo Rockets. He is 3 for 2 on the year, 27 innings pitched, and a 3.67 ERA.
Yeah, Pejazic is a compact righty. Looked good in his warm-up so far. He faces Jeffress to lead off this inning.
Here's the first pitch. That one's going to be a bit too high, called for a ball. Cody Jeffress is 0 for 2 on the day, but he was walked in the 3rd, where he was eventually sent home. So he has 1 run on the day. He's batting .242 on the season. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one also going to be far too high. 2-0 count here for Cody Jeffress at the bottom of the 7th. Wolverines down 10-7. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Thinks about bunting, pulls it back, as that one is going to be called a strike right down the middle. 2-1 count now suddenly.
I love the attention to detail by third baseman Sudbrook for Toledo. Really coming in on that bunt. It's really highly unlikely that Jeffress actually lays a bunt down with a 2-out count, but the repetitions are important in building that habit.
Here's the 2-1. Swing and a miss for strike number 2, Cody Jeffress. 2-2 count now. As Pejazic starting out strong with this first at-bat. Let's see what he does here. Here's the 2-2. That one is going to be too high, making it a full count. Ball 3 called. 3-2 count here for Cody. He has already been walked once, but does not have a hit yet today. Let's see what he does. Here's the full count pitch. That one is going to be barely, well, a little bit too high into the outside. I wouldn't necessarily call that barely. That is going to be called ball number 4 as he takes his base. That is going to be his second walk of the day, putting him safely at first as Ted Burton steps up to the plate. Ted Burton is 1 for 3 on the day. He had a ground out in the first, struck out in the third, and had a single in the fifth. Let's see what he manages to do here with a runner on first. Still no outs here. Here's the first pitch. That one is going to be a strike right down the middle, catches him looking. That one makes it an 0-1 count now. And as we get prepared for the second strike, Pajacek taking his time in between pitches. Here's the next one. That one is going to be a ball just a little bit too high.
That was a great pitch. Off speed coming in at 78. Looked like it caught the upper half of the zone.
I suppose. I thought that one was a perfect strike.
Might have thrown the umpire off with the movement.
I guess I will make it a 1-1 count now as he tries to make the tag out at first, but Jeffress will get back to first base. Makes the throw to first base, but not in time. That one very likely to keep Jeffress from leading off so much. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swings at it, makes contact, but that is going to be a foul ball up and out of play. That'll make it a 1-2 count. Still no outs here with the runner on first base. Ted Burton at the plate for this Wolverine squad will be followed by Jonathan Kim and then Joe Longo. So some quality batters you like to see who can hopefully bring in some runs for this Wolverine squad. Catcher going to call time for a moment, I believe. Reposition himself as we get prepared for the 1-2 pitch. Bottom of the seventh, Wolverines down 10-7. Here it is. And that one is going to be just barely a little too high and to the outside. Going to be called for ball number 2. 2-2 count now here for Ted Burton. Batting .285 on the year. As Pajacek prepares for the 2-2 pitch. Here it is. Swing and a miss. That is going to be strike 3 for out number 1 and the first strikeout of the day for Pajacek as Jonathan Kim steps up to the plate while Ted Burton heads back to the dugout.
And Toledo has quelled Michigan's hitting attack since
definitely.
The grand slam by Velasquez back in the third. Again, Michigan overall 4 of 21. That's good for a 190 average. Yeah. Toledo, on the other hand, 13 for 32. That's 406.
Absurd.
So while the score may be close, Michigan's only gotten all of its runs off of 2 hits.
I know, yeah.
That's the actually more than 2 hits. 3 hits, but you've got the Voit, a home run, and the Velasquez grand slam accounting for 6 of the 7 Michigan runs. But Toledo has really had a very balanced attack offensively.
Yeah. Toledo manager stepping up to the plate, having a quick word with Pajacek after that strikeout. Not quite sure what it was about, but regardless, Jonathan Kim will step up to the plate. He is 0 for 1 on the day, but he has been walked twice, once in the first inning, and was hit by the pitch in the third inning, which eventually became a run, and had a pop fly in the 5th. That first pitch is going to be to the outside, going to be called a ball.
And Kim's still a very dangerous hitter.
For sure.
384 on the season.
That is a crazy stat, especially with a runner on first base. You got Jeffries right there. Still only 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. 1-0 count. Here's the pitch. Swings at it, makes some solid contact. That one is going to get past the center fielder, bounce down as he thinks about rounding. Jeffries thinks about rounding third, but decides to stay at second. Great single there for Jonathan Kim. Will put runners on first and second as Joe Longo steps up to the plate. Great little hit right there. Maybe seemed like the center fielder for just a moment was going to catch up to it, but did not have the speed. But that one takes a good bounce. He manages to grab it and send it back to the infield before allowing anybody to run to before allowing Jeffress to get to third base. You could tell he really thought about it, but before he got about halfway, decided to turn back. Joe Longo stepping up to the plate now. He is 0 for 3 on the day. Let's see if he can't get anything going with a runner in scoring position. First pitch right down the middle, catches him looking. That is going to be a strike 1.
Longo, big opportunity here to add on to the Michigan base running. Only 1 out with runners on first and second.
0-1 count now here for Longo. Here's the pitch. That one's going to be another strike that catches him looking straight down the middle.
Another great off-speed pitch by Pajacek. Getting in the zone at 77 miles an hour. I love the balance of the fastball and the off speed early for Pajasic.
0-2 count now here with 1 out. Joe Longo swings at it, not going to get anything going as first strike 3. 3 pitches, 3 strikes out there for that at-bat for Joe Longo, who is 0 for 4 on the day. Jack Van Remortel now stepping up to the plate. Needed to get something going here at the bottom of the 7th. Wolverines down by 3, 2 outs. He had a ground out in the 2nd inning, but has subsequently been walked in both the 3rd and 6th inning. Jeffries on 2nd, Kim on 1st. Let's see if he can't manage to get anything going. First pitch from Pajasic. That one is going to be low to the outside, called for ball 1.
And Van Remortel's discipline at the plate is just on display there. I mean, that was a close pitch.
That was a really close pitch.
And he followed it all the way in and held back nicely.
See, he gets ready. 1-0 count now. Here's the pitch. Thinks about swinging at it, decides not to. Good thing he didn't. That one was way too low, called for ball number 2. Solid, solid eye. Great eye from Jack Van Remortel. 2-0 count now for Pajasic on the mound. Here's the pitch. Thinks about swinging at it, decides not to, but that one is going to be called a strike, just barely inside the strike zone.
Now that looked outside to me.
That looked outside. I would tend to agree.
And those who are watching Big Ten Network Student U production of this probably had a good visual on that pitch.
Here's a 2-1 count now. Swings at it, makes some contact on it, has the distance, but unfortunately is not going to stay fair. That could have been a huge response by Jack Van Remortel and the Wolverines, but that one just barely going to go to the right of the first baseline, making the count 2-2 for Jack Van Remortel. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. Runners on 1st and 2nd.
See if Van Remortel can poke one the other way here. That'd be huge for Michigan.
It would absolutely be huge. Here he is on the 2-2 count. Here's the pitch. Swings at it, and they're going to say he went. That is going to be strike number 3, ending the inning. Wolverines threaten, but do not score as we head to the top of the 8th.
Yeah, tough couple strikeouts there for Michigan after getting some runners on. If Longo and Van Remortel both go down on strikes, and I mean, since that explosion back in the 2nd and 3rd innings, Michigan's offense has largely been absent. And I know I said that fans should have a lot of confidence in them, but the approaches to the plate late in this game, as the game has progressed, have not gotten much better.
No, they had a really solid 2nd and 3rd inning. As you said, 2 home runs, one of them which being a grand slam. Really seemed like this was going to be a great day at the bats for the Wolverines, but since then, it really seems like it's reversed. Toledo's bats have not cooled off, while the Wolverines have really only managed to get 1 run over the past 4 innings, especially, which is not ideal, as they have desperately needed the runs to slow down this explosive Toledo offense that has scored 9 in the last 3. John Tortorella, stepping up to the mound for the Wolverines. 1-1 record on the year. 8 innings pitched with a 12.38 ERA. Number 8, Tarola, is a senior for the Wolverines and is a right-handed pitcher. As stated, Toledo has scored 9 runs over the past 3 innings. They scored 2 in the 5th, 4 in the 6th, and 3 in the 7th. I'm sure the Wolverines would really like to not allow Toledo to score any runs in this inning. John Torella, 5 strikeouts on the season. Wolverines have gone through quite a few pitchers today, as Toledo holding on to a 10-7 lead as we enter the top of the 8th. It just feels like these past couple defensive innings for the Wolverines, it was just everything from some fielding, miscues, to some miscommunications, and just red-hot bats from Toledo. We said it over and over again in the last inning, but they did such an incredible job of staying alive in the count. They'd have 2 strikes, and they would just get those foul balls out of play that the Wolverines can't touch, just add up more and more numbers to the pitch count of these new pitchers before eventually just getting that ball that they liked, they would just clobber to send a run in. Number 22, excuse me, no. Yes, number 22, I believe, for the Toledo, stepping up to the plate. That's going to be not...
Sykes out in right field.
Excuse me, yes, you're right. Mason Sykes. As there's a bit of a miscue on the scoreboard there. First pitch, makes some contact with it, but that is going to be a foul ball behind and well out of play. 0-1 count here. As he is the first batter here at the top of the 8th. Sykes is 1 for 4 on the day, but his single in the 6th inning sent in a run. As that pitch is going to be just a bit too much to the outside.
I think they called that one a strike.
No, that is going to be a strike.
Yeah, and that was a great pitch there by Torella, the off-speed curve that hung and broke at the very end of that
clearly
sequence.
Fooled me. I wouldn't have swung at it. 0-2 count now. Here's the pitch.
Same pitch going back to it. This one came in a little faster.
And that one is just not going to reach the zone, going to be called for a ball, making the count 1-2 for Sykes. Torella, I'm sure, would love to start out a inning with a strikeout and see what he can do. 1-2 count. Here's the pitch. Swings at it, makes some contact with it. That is going to be a foul ball up and out of play. And would you believe it? Another 2-strike foul ball to stay alive in the count. Toledo, it just feels like every at-bat for the last, I don't even know how many, has had a second strike foul ball they've used to stay alive in it.
Yeah, Toledo's doing a great job of fighting, staying alive, lengthening these at-bats, giving Michigan pitchers a lot of trouble and frustration.
Oh, yeah, here's the 1-2 pitch. Swings at it, another.
There you go, right on cue.
What can you even say? Right on cue. A foul tip right there, allowing him to stay alive in the count. 1-2. They just stay alive. They just get a piece of the ball on those foul balls. They don't remain fair, but it allows just pump up those numbers for the pitch count for these guys. Here's the 1-2 pitch. I don't even know what to say anymore. That is going to be, would you believe it, another foul ball. Second strike foul ball to stay alive in the count. I should have been keeping track, frankly. I should have kept a tally, although I'm sure I would have run out of space on my paper. 1-2 count. Swing at it, and that one is actually going to be fair. Third baseman going to run straight up to it and get him out at first.
Yeah, Mitch Voigt took that ball away from Cody Jeffress,
Sure.
bobbled it a bit on the transition, but ended up making the play. Good play there by him. He's still a really raw defender. He's a freshman. We've seen a couple miscues in this game. That one he's able to recover quite nicely, but he's got a lot of arm talent. He's got a lot of agility. So a good long-term third baseman or maybe even a shortstop when Jeffress leaves for Michigan. So definitely something to look forward to for the future if you're a Michigan baseball fan.
First out of the inning is Jackson steps up to the plate, makes contact on the first swing, but that is going to be a foul ball up and out of play, hitting the net behind home base. Jackson is 0 for 2 on the day, but has managed to get 2 runs off of the 2 walks he's had. One in the second inning and one in the 6th, both of which he eventually went home on. 0-1 count. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss for strike number 2 right there. Owen Jackson, the designated hitter, batting 4th for the Toledo Rockets. 0-2 count now. Top of the 8th. 1 out here. Torella getting ready. Here's the 0-2. And that is going to be a strike right down the middle. Jackson knew it immediately right before the pitch went in. Catches him looking as he makes his walk back to the dugout. That is going to be Torella's first strikeout of the day and the second out here of this 8th inning.
Yeah, Torella kind of just took it to Jackson in that at-bat on 3 pitches.
For sure.
Jackson did draw 2 walks previously in the game, so good for Torella attacking the strike zone.
As now a huge threat, Braden White for the Toledo Rockets steps up to the plate. He is 3 for 4 on the day with 2 RBIs and 2 personal runs. First pitch just going to be a bit too low, and the catcher unable to field it, but with no one on base, doesn't really matter. 1-0 count now. 2 outs here for White. Here's the pitch. Swings at it, makes some contact on it, but that is going to be a foul ball that goes off the catcher's helmet and goes towards the Toledo dugout.
Yeah, went right off of Sotres' helmet, and good gesture by White to make sure that Sotres is okay.
Yeah.
Catcher, it can be a physically grueling position.
I tried doing it for like a year in Little League, and my knees, my legs, my everything were just dead after every game.
I'm sure Sotris has been feeling it if he's been doing his whole life, but he's
yeah.
experienced.
3-4 count. That is a beautiful pitch. That catches him looking. I thought that one was way to the outside, but it curves right into the strike zone. Catches White looking for strike number 2. 1-2 count now. As White gets ready for what should be a huge pitch right here. Here's the 1-2. Swings at it. Not going to get anything going. Catcher unable to field it. He's going to try to run to first, but he knows he is going to be out at first. Out number 3 of the inning. Wolverines finally able to get out of an inning real quick. 1-2-3. No hits, and especially no runs earned by that Toledo squad.
A great bounce back inning for Michigan after giving up 3 straight innings of 2 or more runs. Michigan bouncing back quite nicely. We'll see if they can continue it going, but it's the offensive end that Michigan really needs to improve on. You've got 2 more chances, bottom of the 8th and bottom of the 9th for Michigan, to tack on 3 or more runs. So we'll see if they can do that.
And as you indeed stated, we have a bottom of the 8th. I'm not quite sure. It doesn't seem like they are having the same batter come in, the same pitcher, excuse me. No, that is indeed going to be Kyle Bajezek. Had a solid inning, only allowing 1 hit, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. He's got a 3.54 ERA on the season, so it only makes sense that they would like to be keeping Kyle in. For the Wolverines, their lineup, it's going to be Velasquez leading things off. Velasquez is of course the grand slam in the 3rd inning. He is 2 for 2 on the day. Hit by pitch in the 2nd, hit the grand slam in the 3rd, and hit a single, which ended up sending in an RBI in the 6th inning. So he has 5 RBIs on the day. He has been very, very impressive so far today. As Velasquez, and stepping up after him will be Mitch Voigt, who hit the 2-run shot in the 2nd inning, followed by Tito Flores in rounding out the end of the lineup with Gabe Sotris here in this inning. As you said, Wolverines don't have too many opportunities left, only 2 more innings to try and come back from this 10-7 deficit. As Joey Velasquez steps up to the plate to start off the bottom of the 8th. We'll see, and first pitch makes contact with it, but that is going to be a ground foul ball up and out of play. No chance at making any kind of play on that one.
Michigan could use another big Velasquez hit here, possibly the best offensive game of his career. 5 RBIs, 2 for 2, 2 runs. It's about as good as it gets.
For sure. He makes some contact on that one. That is going to be a foul ball out of play, called for strike number 2. 0-2 count here for Joey Velasquez. As stated, he is 2 for 2 on the day, 5 RBIs, 2 runs, and 1 walk. He was hit by pitch in the 2nd inning. Here's the 0-2 count. Swings at it, makes some contact, manages to stay alive in the count with 2 strikes.
Velasquez
foul ball out of play.
Giving Toledo a bit of their own medicine with a 2-out foul ball.
Oh,
or 2-strike foul ball,
yeah.
rather.
See how they like it.
Sign of a good baseball team.
For sure. Bajezek gets ready for the 0-2 pitch. Here it comes. Swings at it, makes some contact. That is going to be a fair ball, but should go straight to the 2nd baseman. First baseman trips and falls, but the pitcher, Bajezek, manages to get over to first base to make the tag out. Almost a great opportunity right there for Velasquez as the first baseman trips on his way to get the ball, but Toledo managing to reorganize themselves to get that out regardless. Very well played, very well fielded by the Rocket squad. Mitch Voigt steps up to the plate. He is 1 for 3 on the day. His only hit being a 2-run homer that came in the 2nd inning. 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. First pitch, going to be a bit too high. Ball 1.
See if Voigt can get on base here for Michigan. Again, 3 runs needed between these last 2 Michigan innings.
For sure. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss for strike number 1 on Mitch Voigt. He has had, Mitch Voigt, 2 RBIs, one of which being his own run, coming from a 2-run shot, from a 2-run homer in the second inning. Here's the 1-1. Swings at it, makes some great contact. That one's going to get past the second baseman, way into the outfield. That one is an easy single, as it is well fielded by the center and right fielders to throw the ball back into the infield before he can make it over to second. Voit safe on first base as Tito Flores steps up to the plate. He is 0 for 3 on the day. Ground out in the second, ground out in the fourth, and a fly out in the sixth. He's batting .198 on the year.
Yeah, that average has dipped below 200 this game.
Really like a hit from him right here. Still one out here in the bottom of the eighth. Here's the first pitch. And it's a strike right down the middle. Tito thinks about swinging at it, but just decides not to. And I'm sure he would like to have that one back. That was a crisp, clean strike right down the middle. 0-1 count now for Tito. As Voit on first base. Here's the 0-1. Thinks about swinging at that one, but that one's just going to be a little bit too high, called for a ball.
Yeah, that was another good pitch.
For sure, that was a really good pitch.
Not as obviously a strike, but caught the outside edge.
Yeah.
Umpire rooted the ball, though.
Brzezek, 3 strikeouts on the day so far. 3.49 ERA on the season. Here's the 1-1. Swings at it, makes some contact, but that is going to be a foul ball up and out of play. Going somewhat towards the car parking lot. 1-2 count now for Tito Flores. Wolverines down 10-7 here in the bottom of the eighth. Time starting to run out for the squad to really get something going, as they had been up by 5 runs at one point for the combination of the 5th, 6th, and 7th inning for Toledo. And that is going to be strike number 3. Swing and a miss for Tito Flores, who goes 0 for 4 on the day. Not his day at the office.
Pinch hitter for Michigan, Dylan Stanton.
Dylan Stanton, this is going to be his first at-bat of the year, it would seem. He has no average, and no, excuse me, he needed a second to update the stats, actually. He is a 200 average on 4 hits at 20 at-bats. Dylan Stanton with only 1 RBI on the year. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Voit on first base, trying to get something going for this Wolverine squad. We'll see what Dylan Stanton does right here. First pitch. Swings at it, makes some great contact with it. That's going to go take a bounce into center field. Caught by the center fielder, but that one is going to be a single for Dylan Stanton. 5th hit of the season on his 21st at-bat. That takes us to the top of the lineup in Cody Jeffress.
It's good to see Stanton get on base.
Oh, yeah.
Last season, he appeared in 22 games and started in 10 of them. Has had a bit of a lesser role this year, only starting in 4 games so far, but Michigan's coaching staff might have to reconsider if...
As they're actually going to take him out, replace him with number 7,
Marty.
pinch base runner, Jake Marty. Indeed, as you said, the senior is going to take over base running opportunities for him, but a great hit, getting some high fives in the dugouts right there for that great hit in center field. Solid single right there. Cody Jeffress stepping up to the plate. He is over 2 on the day, but he has been walked twice, once in the 3rd inning and once in the 7th inning. He managed to come home in the 3rd inning after that home run. Let's see what he can do right here. First pitch, that one is going to be a strike, just barely hugging the strike zone. Strike number 1. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Wolverines have runners on 1st and 2nd. You'd really like to imagine they'd like to do something with it and not leave it all to some late game heroics that would be necessary in the 9th. 0-1 count. Swings at it, makes contact. That is going to be a foul ball. Not sure if that will remain in play. It will. That one is caught by the 3rd baseman for the 3rd out of the inning. That takes us to the top of the 9th. Wolverines remain down 10-7.
Excellent communication there by the 3rd baseman, Sudbrook, calling off his teammates right in front of the Michigan dugout as well. Making a key play to keep Michigan at bay in the 8th inning. And Michigan's defense coming out here in the 9th, no questions about it. They need to keep this lead where it is.
For sure. You cannot allow any unnecessary hits. Can't be making any mistakes. You need to be taking care of business in this inning and then send in some of your top runners. Good advertising it right now. Good chance to remind you right now of the next inning as the next series, coming up this weekend, a home series against Michigan State on Friday. First pitch will be at 4 p.m. is a maze-out. I've said it 2 times. I've said it 3 times. I'll say it again. You're not doing anything that day. You need to take a break from studying for finals. You need to take a break working on that paper. Why not come down to this field, come and support this Wolverine squad as they take on their rivals from East Lansing. It is a maze-out. First pitch at 4. Be there as we get ready for the top of the 9th. Sudbrook will take the plate for the first at-bat of the inning. He is 0 for 3 on the day, but he was walked once in the 5th, where he eventually came home. Wolverines managed to stop the Rockets from scoring any runs in the previous inning, but was not enough for the 9 runs that Toledo scored across 3 innings in the 5th, 6th, and 7th, giving them a 10-7 lead over this Wolverine squad. They've had 13 hits on the day. Sudbrook stepping up to the plate as stated. Torella will remain on the mound for the Wolverine squad. Here's the first pitch. That one's going to be a strike, just barely inside that strike zone. Called for strike number 1. Torella, 2 strikeouts on the day with an exactly 11.0 ERA on the season. As he makes contact on that second pitch, Sudbrook, but that one is easily fielded by the first baseman, who tags him out at first. As now, after that first out here in the top of the 9th, Parker will step up to the plate for the Toledo Rockets. Wesley Parker, the freshman. We're going to see Root pitch hitting yet again. He was walked in the 7th inning, where he eventually came home. He is batting .300 on the year. Here's the first pitch. Makes some contact with it, but that's going to be a foul ball way to the left of the third base line.
Yeah, Root, big opportunity here for Toledo to perhaps work his way into the starting lineup. The senior, .300 on the year. Like you said, Ryan got on and scored. If he can put together a quality at-bat here, be big for Toledo.
0-1 count. Here's the pitch with 1 out. Swing and a miss. Really wanted that one, but does not get any of it for the second strike. As you mentioned, Ruth, the senior, here on an 0-2 count. Here's the pitch. Thinks about swinging at it, pulls it back as that one is a ball to the outside. Catcher has to jump on top of it to stop it from getting past him, but with no one on base, would not have done any damage. 1-2 count, 1 out here. Here's the pitch. Swings at it, makes some contact, is going to stay alive in the count with a second 2-strike foul ball. Toledo fans getting rowdy. The Toledo players all standing up in the dugout, cheering loudly for whenever the third base coach is able to make the grab on those foul balls. I'd love to see it.
Yep.
1-2 count. Here's the pitch. Swings at it, makes some solid contact. That is a high fly ball over to center field. Should be easily fielded, and is for the second out of the inning here.
That ball was skied by Root.
Yeah.
Good job by Kim, not panicking, getting under it, making the play.
For sure. Now 32. Parker. Now Wesley Parker is going to step up to the plate. The freshman is having an excellent day. He is 2 for 4 on the day with 3 RBIs and 1 run. He had a sacrifice fly in the fifth. He had a single where he was eventually tagged out at second, I believe. No, excuse me. Regardless. Oh. First pitch way to the outside. Looked like it was maybe going to hit Parker for a moment. Parker indeed has 3 RBIs. A sacrifice out at first in the 5th inning. A single in the 6th. And another single in the 7th. Both of which he came home on. Foul tip right there. Called for strike number 1. 1-1 count now.
Torella doing a good job of dealing with these 9th inning Toledo Rockets hitters, and
sure
they get Parker out here. Michigan's got controls their own destiny in the 9th.
Absolutely so. Here's the pitch. That one, a mean little drop and curve right there in the strike zone for strike number 2.
Got some help from the catcher Buckley. A great job of framing that ball, like you said, Ryan. That was a mean curve.
Oh yeah. 2 outs here. Top of the 9th. Here's the pitch.
Another one.
just a little bit too high on that one.
That one didn't break nearly as much. Still a pretty
No.
good pitch, though, at 1-2.
But
See what Torella comes back with at the 2-2.
2-2 and 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. No one on base. Here's the pitch to Parker. Swings at it, makes some solid contact, but that one should be easily fielded, and it is by Velasquez, who makes the catch for the 3rd out of the inning. Wolverines down 10-7 as we head to the bottom of the 9th. Wolverines truly living on a prayer, needing 3 runs to tie this game up against the Toledo Rockets. Burton will be the first one at bat for the Wolverines today. He is 1 for 4. His only hit coming off a single in the 5th inning. That inning was very well played by this Wolverine squad, managing to stop the red-hot bats that Toledo seemed to go on for 3 innings. These last 2 innings, they've very much taken care of business. You just wish they didn't cause so much damage in those 3 innings. Bottom of the 9th now here.
Well, tall task for Michigan, but
Sure.
the 3 hitters that are due up are quality hitters. You got Burton at 282, Kim at 391, and Longo at 286. Now, you're going to need a lot more than those 3 to make this comeback, of course, unless all 3 homer.
Would be fun to see.
Definitely would be fun to see. We'll see if Michigan
But
can make it happen. They've
not-
scored 7 runs in this game, so they definitely have the firepower to do so, but it's a tall task nevertheless.
As we said, down 10-7. Toledo scoring 9 runs in 3 innings. Bottom of the 9th. This is the lineup I think you'd want with such a deficit. But we'll have to see if the Wolverines can make anything of it. They have not scored a run since the 6th inning, which was just a single run. They've scored 6 of their 7 runs off of 2 homers, 1 in the 2nd and 1 in the 3rd. The 3rd one, the one in the 3rd being a grand slam.
Yeah, big knock
You
there for
definitely like to
Velasquez.
see another one of those this inning. That's all I'll say. Toledo, presumably, unless we get free baseball, finishing with 13 hits on the day, compared to the Wolverines 7. Okay, Michigan scored 6 of those 7 runs off of just 2 hits. It was a crazy stat that tragically was not meant to last. 7 runs off 7 hits now. Brennan McCune, now on the mound for the Toledo Rockets. Here's the first pitch. That one is going to be way too high, called for ball 1. McCune is a 4.98 ERA on the season, win and loss record of 1-3 and 34.1 innings pitched. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swings at it, makes some solid contact, but that should be an easy pop fly out for the center fielder on Toledo, who does make that catch. Out number 1 in this 9th inning, Ted Burton finishes the day 1 for 5. Not his day. As Jonathan Kim steps up to the plate. He is 1 for 2 on the day, but he has managed to get 1 run. He was hit by a pitch in the 3rd, which he eventually managed to take home on that grand slam. Here's the first pitch. Just a little too high, called for a ball. Jonathan Kim batting .391 on the season. Wolverines need a miracle here with 1 out here, top of the 9th. That pitch is just going to be to the outside, called for ball number 2.
Yeah, a lot of quality Michigan hitters struggling at the plate today. You look at Burton, 1 for 5, like you mentioned. Jeffress is 0 for 3.
2-0 pitch, makes some contact on it, and that is going to be yet another fly ball. Should be easily caught by the shortstop, who does catch it. That's out number 2 for the Wolverines. Michigan's hope of this game rests with number 23, Joe Longo, who was 0 for 4 on the day, batting .286 on the year, but this has not been his day. 0 for 4. Wolverines hoping not to make this the last at-bat of the night from as McCune steps up, fires off that first pitch well outside the strike zone, called for ball number 1. McCune has only thrown 5 pitches so far in this inning. Here's the second pitch. That one going straight to the third baseman, but he is not going to be able to dive in front of it, and that will be a single for Joe Longo. His first hit of the day coming when the Wolverines are in desperate need of it most. Great little hit right there. Third baseman tried to dive on top of it, but managed to go right in between him and the second baseman.
And
well into the outfield.
Van Remortel, who's stepping up to the plate now, is exactly who you want if you're a Michigan fan at the plate. Doesn't have a hit, but has drawn 2 walks and has a solid average of 309. Velasquez in the hole, on deck rather. That's the tying run.
Remortel has 2 runs on the day, managed to get home on both walks that he has been received, but he struck out in the 7th inning. First pitch to Remortel, down low and dirty. Catcher has to get on top of it to stop from getting behind him. 1-0 count now for Jack Van Remortel. Runner on first base. Here's the pitch. Swings at it, not going to get anything going. Called for strike number 1. Remortel stepping out of the batter's box for a moment, taking off his helmet, knows how much pressure there is on him to keep this game alive. 1-1 count. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 9th. The Wolverines down 10-7, in need of a miracle and then some. On pass to give the players a second. Calls time for just a moment. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That one is going to be a strike right down the middle, called for strike number 2. 1-2 count now here for Jack Van Remortel. McCune looking to put this one away with 1 more strike. 1-2 count. 2 outs here for Remortel. Here's the pitch. Swings at it, makes contact. That is going to be a foul ball, up and out of play. Stays alive in the count with a 2-strike foul. McCune has only thrown about 10 pitches this inning. Very efficient inning for this closer. Here's the pitch, 1-2. Another chance to put this one away. Takes a second, nodding at his catcher. Here's the pitch. That one is going to be way to the outside, called for a ball. 2-2 count now for Remortel. 2-2 count.
See if Van Remortel can work the count. Don't panic. Don't swing for the fences here. Work the count. See if you can get on base somehow.
Just get on base. That's really all you need to be doing right now. Here's the 2-2. Swings at it, makes contact, stays alive in the count with a 2nd strike foul. How many times have I said that one today?
Too many.
Too many, really.
Sign of a good baseball team, though, so
we'll
take it.
Yeah, we take
Both
it.
teams have been great at that so far today.
Count remains 2-2. Kuhn. Another chance to put this one away. Here's the pitch. Swings at it, not going to get anything going. Strike number 3. That one will do it for us here at Michigan. Final score, University of Michigan Wolverines 7, Toledo Rockets 10. Final thoughts on that one, Owen?
Yeah, Michigan got out to a big lead early. They were up 6-1 thanks to a Joey Velasquez grand slam as well as a Mitch Voigt 2-run shot. But they kind of just fell apart in the middle innings.
They did.
Both pitching-wise and defensively.
5th, 6th, and 7th inning was just brutal over and over and over again. I mean, you saw the team before that and even after that kind of got together, everything together pitching-wise and fielding-wise. But those 3 innings just caused so much damage. It was too much for this team to really come back from. And the Bats really didn't have a response. They had 1 run in the bottom of the 6th inning that tied the game back up, but then immediately Toledo went back into the next inning, responded with 3 runs of their own to take the lead that the Wolverines were unable to respond to.
Certainly. Michigan will be back in action in 2 days. On Friday the 21st, they start the Michigan State Series here at home. WCBN should be on that coverage, so make sure to tune in for that. Ryan, any last thoughts before we sign off?
Mostly just want to say how much of a pleasure it's been to call not just this game, but every game I've called over the past 2 years, every baseball, softball, basketball, hockey, football games that I've done. It has truly been an experience I wouldn't trade for anything. I wanted to thank all of you so much for listening. From Owen Klein, I'm Ryan Dolson. Have a good night. Go Blue.